I don't know what that means.
It feels so good to be back. Polo, turn me up. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to UPR Presents, a tribute to Sting matches and moments. And I am your host because I wanted to do this to one of my favorites, my GOAT of all time, a glorious send-off the UPR way. I'm your host, Zia Solid, and I am joined by not only Mr. Mike Knoxxx down below, pause, great Grand Slam Pooba. We got an extra in
Boom.
here. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's going on?
So I am probably one of the hugest Stings fans, and I just wanted to give this brother some love, pause, and go through his career just a bit. After what we saw on Sunday with AEW Revolution, you look back at his career. It's hard to say that there's a career better than Sting, although there's certainly people with a lot of accolades more than Sting, but there's a rare amount of wrestlers who have the respect that Sting has, right? Like we don't get a lot of bad mouthing about Sting. I mean, if you do hear it, it's before he turned his life over to God, and he knew there was something had to change. That horrible movie that they had, I forgot what it was called. It was like something in the late 90s.
What, the Crow?
No. It was an actual like biography movie.
Oh.
I forgot. I saw it on HBO
Crow
one time.
was bad. Crow wasn't bad.
It depends on who you ask.
No, I don't think it's a bad. I just think it's overrated.
Listen, we don't know if it's overrated, if they're taking it if that's a bad thing or it's a good thing, because we're getting a remake at this point in time. So
they remake everything. So
yeah, exactly.
Say a lot.
So I've been going around the internet looking at some of his greatest matches and some of my favorite matches. And one of them that I wanted to start with, I want to start pretty much at the beginning of my love for Sting. Which
like
has
nothing.
to be, I'm sorry?
No, so Chris's comment. He said it was bad. I said Chris don't like nothing. So.
I have to start with Sting versus Flair 1990 Great American Bash. This was at the point in time they had already faced off. This was their third time facing off. But this was my introduction to Sting, and I just thought that he looked cool. Like at the time, I just thought he looked cool, and being like, like I don't know how I was like 3, 4, something like that. It was just something that I had not seen before, and I was just happy that like it was more superhero-esque to me, the way he was portrayed, the way that I saw him in that light, but I just like what I saw. I like the way that he wrestled. And I wanted to touch on that because that's not even a match that people say that made Sting, but for me, it's my favorite match, in which people, they like to say that's what made Sting, will be the one in '88. Mike, you're old enough. The eldersman in here. What do you remember about Great American Bash in 1990? If not that, then what do you remember about Clash of Champions from 1988?
No, I actually, and as we speak a lot, quite often every day, actually, and I don't remember a lot of things, but I remember those very vividly. I was a very big NWA fan. I know at that point, especially in '90, they were calling it WCW. It would never be called WCW for me. They just changed the name, but everybody was still the same. So for me, it was always NWA. And as I said to you plenty of times before, those are my favorite Sting eras and moments, was early Sting. I was such a huge face fan. Good guys over anything for me in that time. And just watching him and being a huge Ultimate Warrior fan, you got to see the opposite, so to speak, where with Ultimate Warrior, it was all energy, and like charisma. But with Sting, you got that same energy, but you got the wrestling with it. You got to see, you know, he I know people won't really think of him as a mat wrestler, and man, you speak again quite often. I love psychology in a wrestler, right? It's knowing where in the ring placements can be, things can be at. And he had that match against Ric Flair. Like you said, most people say that put him on the map. And it did in a sense because Flair was that guy. And a lot of people to this day, when it comes to him versus Hogan, they would put Flair over Hogan because Flair was putting on better in-ring matches, although Hogan had the machine behind him. Sting was able to not have that machine behind him, but still get people to talk about him. And that was a lot, especially in that time when WrestleMania had already been formed and things like that. But people can have two things. It was either Great American Bash or it was Saturday Night Main Event. And I would always say, back then, there was no competition in me about, oh, I like them or this. It was just wrestling. It was just great time to sit back. It was no comparing. They were completely two different products. And you got to see Sting in a whole different way that I don't think a lot of people, unless you lived in that era, could understand, to me anyway, what he meant to NWA, WCW.
Bad guy.
You know, I felt so unprepared. I mean, Mike had a picture, and everyone is so calm and serious.
That's me. As you're talking, I will bring the visual up.
Oh no, that's fantastic.
So go ahead.
No,
I got you.
Fantastic. Well, first off, shout out to you for coming up with this concept of talking about Sting. My introduction to Sting, it was in the 90s, and I can't sit here and say, oh, I saw a certain match, but I remember growing up playing video games, and I remember just seeing Sting, and I said, oh, that's such a cool look. This guy just had white face paint, because I missed Surface Sting. I caught Crow. So when I was seeing it, I just thought it was so cool. And then as time went on, I got to see more of him. And even as I got to see him on TV and I really started to indulge in wrestling, and I was like the late 90s, I saw Wolfpack Sting. And I said, oh, and you would think I would like Wolfpack Sting because my favorite color is red. But he kept messing with the NWO and Bret Hart, so I didn't like him. But nonetheless, that was my introduction to him. And I just thought he was so, the Crow stuff was just cool. It just the look. And as I got older and I got to understand where it came from, it comes from a movie, and him just not talking for a whole year. I was like, that's wild to me. It's amazing. So that was my introduction. That was my Sting, the Crow Sting, which he kept that look for as he retired, of course. But that original incarceration version of him, make sure I don't butcher the word, but that first version of the Crow, and he's not talking, not saying nothing, and the stuff where he would have the bat and he would hand it to people. And I know we're going to get into some moments, so I'm not going to dig too much, but Crow Sting was my first. That was the Sting I was introduced to.
Well, this is around the time where I really got into, like, walking through the store and seeing the guy that I just seen on TV, and I got me a Super Nintendo too. Hey mom, let's get it popping. I'm gonna need that Super Brawl. Best believe I got the WrestleMania to go with it, but Super Brawl was still that was my ish, especially after seeing Sting for the first time. But another match, I want to try to kind of go through this as close to the 90s as I possibly can. Would have to be.
We're just gonna skip the other 6 years of his career before then, because I got to witness all 40 years of Sting.
Yeah, well, so those 40 years, I wasn't even. Listen, I just gave up 2 years. That I was an inkling, a baby. Like,
yeah, Mike.
By all means, go ahead if you want to talk about those
years. No, because like again,
they were in black and white by then.
One of the things that before you jumped so fast into the 90s, I just don't want to just remind people again. At this time, and because of what we do today, we compare, right? Him having to have any promo or segment, with RoboCop was fucking huge. It was huge. Like, you have to understand, like, when it comes to pop culture, you have your Freddy Cougars, your Chuckies, your Jason Myers. You have RoboCop. He's an iconic. I know I went from horror to there. I'm just mentioning characters, in
Sure.
that your gremlins of the world. You know what I mean? Your what's his first name? McClane's from your diehards. You know, Rocky
John
Balboa.
McClane.
Tom McClain.
Yeah, John
John
McClane.
McClane.
So him have WCW at that time getting RoboCop, that was big for that company because they wasn't known for doing those kind of things. You know what I mean? And so you had to put the right guy with him for it to work. And I just thought, you know, them putting Sting with RoboCop, you know, it was just, I just, those moments are really, as I'm saying it, I can see them in my head like an Apple Vision Pro. It's just, it was an amazing time to watch as a kid.
It's actually
You remember
interesting you
this?
bring that up.
Do you remember this?
War games?
Sting Squadron versus Deadly Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Stunning Steve Austin was in there.
Yep.
Paulie Dangerously, aka
Hall of Famer.
it's skipping me right now, but I've always told you, and people say where they got his gimmick from. He got his gimmick from Jerry Carcanian, if I say his name correctly, from The Last Dragon. That's exactly who Paulie Dangerously character is, and elevated since then, but that's where that character originated from, put from The Last Dragon. Yeah, I remember this very well. It's one of the few war games, by the way, that does not feature the Four Horsemen in it. So that should stick out as well.
Yeah, for me, I believe this is the first war games that I ever saw, that I could even remotely remember seeing.
If I'm not mistaken, that's Medusa on top.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a, yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then right about that time is where I would like to think of one of my favorite tag matches of all time, against my favorite tag team of all time. We got Sting and Luger versus the Steiners. This match was a banger, straight banger. If you know about the Steiners in WCW, chef's kiss. Like I would, them Harlem Heat, they're up there. I think it's 1A, 1B, whoever you want to choose. You can't go wrong with either. But they ruled WCW. And Sting and Luger were a good tag team. But as far as brothers go, they'll go down as the best brother team. The Steiners are Harlem Heat. Who would you say?
Hardys, unfortunately. And it's because, again, it's where you are to where the big boys play, and that pun intended, actually. You know what I mean? They're my favorite brother tag team of all time. They're my top 3 favorite tag team of all time. It's the Steiner brothers. And also, little quip note, if you will. This match introduced the Frankensteiner, which at that time,
yes,
wow, it was the first time you ever seen. Because he's big, and
he's a big dude.
Yeah, and he does a little pump up thing. Mm-hmm. This is when, honestly, there was no competition as far as in ring product was concerned. WCW, NWA had it all.
Yeah. So now let's get into where Jack picks up, so we can get him in this conversation more, because I still feel like we're too old for Jack right now.
I don't think we're far apart in age, Z, but I missed a lot of the surfer. Matter of fact, one of the questions I wanted to throw out: why do we even call him Surfer Sting? Because I've never seen him come with a surfboard. So I'm just curious to understand.
He had the Beach Boy look. Yeah, it was the Beach Boy look.
That makes sense.
The blonde hair, being from Venice Beach, California.
That makes sense.
I mean, the whole, all that in the 80s, that was a big look. Especially coming off of the movie which stars Nicolas Cage, Valley Girl. So, I'm showing my age. Let me shut the F up.
No, that was fantastic. All I wanted was answers. I thought about that today at work, and I'm sitting there saying, man, I'm going to be on this Sting tribute show. But I was like, okay, Crow Sting, it makes sense. Wolfpack Sting makes sense. All these names make sense. But I've never seen him come out with a surfboard. What are we doing here? But now that y'all broke it down, I appreciate that very much.
But it's weird. Nobody actually called him Surfer Sting until later, and it was just Sting.
Right.
You know,
it was just Sting.
Somehow that's what people just started calling him. It was like, okay. But it makes
like in the two. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm sorry.
So, like we were saying earlier, Bad Guy, NWO comes around and they're just demolishing WCW. And as they have a hold on the whole wrestling industry, they're crumbling WCW.
Beating the shit out of them.
at the same time, people are switching over. Like as WCW is falling
Getting
apart.
demolished,
Yeah, they're getting demolished.
dominated.
Sting is like, you know what? All right, I done had enough of this. Like I remember that. Like
Right.
and becoming the Crow was the gimmick. I remember looking at the first paint that he had was
Right.
absolutely terrible. And just for a reference, let me get that here.
Because it is different, because if you look at both that and then the final product, it was just like one little line, but I think what he was trying to go for was like the actual, that one. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was awful. I'm sorry. I think you're talking about that was
the first one, right? And then then he came with a little bit more when he finished the chin area and then got, I don't know.
And also with this one, if I could throw out, he started. So Crow Sting doesn't talk, but this is where you know that they were in the beginning stage, right? So you see that look, but they just, I guess when because he always credits Scott Hall, but yeah, that was the look I was talking about. Because eventually he started adding a little pizzazz to it, right? But that look, it just shows you that they were in the beginning stage, because even in that picture you showed, he spoke. And later on, he realized I shouldn't speak. I should just sit here and use my eyes and whatever. Like he just realized I shouldn't talk. So, I mean, before you can run, you got to crawl, right? So I agree that was horrible. But then we end up getting better stuff like this.
We got much better stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Because even if you look at the hair, like as and I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize, sir.
No, you're good.
I'm the best, but his hair got even longer. I think he eventually, once he nailed the look, everything was just like how what the cool kid said, chef's kiss. Although I've never seen a chef kiss me before, but whatever.
Wait, what? What?
This is what happens when you work with me, Z.
So he appears and he's the ultimate savior for WCW,
right?
Which at the time, I just remember watching, and this is why I could never watch wrestling with my dad at any point in time, because my dad is just like, oh gosh, this is so funny. All of them are scared of this one dude. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm
it's
like
always hard to watch for me.
I'm like 9, 10 years old. I'm like, dude, just let me enjoy it. I would have to go. I would have to leave the living room and go in my parents' room and complain to my mom, and she would let me sit on her bed and watch wrestling, because it's just and by the time I got older, like I got a little older, up until I got like 13, 14. Sure. Like I started to realize why he was doing it, because he knew I would leave. Right, he knew I would leave, and the TV would be his. So once I caught on to that, I was like, you know what? Nah, you gonna say this shit today.
This is all TV.
You gonna watch this shit today. So his WCW run as Crow Sting was about 6 to 7 years. And then you can throw in the year of it would be 5 years as Crow Sting, roughly 1 year as Wolfpack Sting, and then back.
That sounds about right.
Because
in '99 he went back.
Yeah,
he went back in '99 after he got hurt. Yep.
WCW, I don't even know what I like to call it WCW 2000 with the updated logo and all of that. So we got King Vaughn in here. We got a round table, or is y'all just back here?
Oh, we got a round table.
I don't know. But I've only got about a couple minutes left.
We keep the round table rolling.
Double duty.
Double Diddy. You don't want to get double Diddy.
No, absolutely not. I don't want nobody up there screaming at me, take that, 'cause I'm not taking nothing. Fact, I didn't like Crow Sting.
Really?
I loathed it. I hated the gimmick and I hated at that time, right? I'm a young, I'm a teenager at this time. So, watching wrestling take from something I thought was whack at that time. Now, as I'm older, I go, oh, that made sense. It looked good. It was cool. It was this. It was that. But I was so a fan of Surfer Sting that when he went completely not talking inside, I got it. I understood it, but I didn't like it from the sense of I loved original Sting. And so I hated on this gimmick for so long. But I liked black and white Crow Sting. Hated red and black. Hated red. Red and black's my favorite two colors because it completely, again, if you guys know and you check out the Mike Knoxxx show each and every single Monday at 6 p.m., hashtag wrestling is storyline. The storyline for red and black Sting didn't make sense to me. That's why I didn't like red and black Sting. I go Surfer Sting, then I go Joker Sting. Personally, I loved his run in TNA as Joker Sting because I remember at first, and I knew Dice at that time. I hated it. Remember at first I was like, what is this? And then I started watching it more and more, and I was like, which is, I always tell people we're all walking contradictions, right? See how I just contradicted myself, how I didn't like how they took from then, but I understood how he took from Heath Ledger's Joker, and I just thought it was a perfect blend for him over in TNA, but I understood it. It made the most sense to take over. He had to go within himself. He had to be anti what he was because the NWO came and they changed the complexity of the company that he helped, rise to a certain level. And so for them other guys to come in and take over and everybody loving them, you know what I mean? It's kind of reminds you, think about it as a Bret Hart fan as you are, when Stone Cold came in and Bret hated that. Right? Like, how do I build this company to be the next generation? And you come here and you're just anti this. And that was NWO. NWO came in, everyone liked them. Sting was like, hold up. And that's such a horrible, horrible picture. Like, poster right there.
This is what was popping back in 1997.
It's 1997, baby.
This is what was popping in 97. And this is one of my all-time favorite Crow Sting matches. Of course, this is still very beginner Sting. And regardless of how much flack that this match gets because of the botch job towards the end, it got shitted on a lot. But this is the first real sign that we got that Sting is the ultimate savior for WCW, and it gave hope for the rest of the roster, and nobody had been able to stand remotely close to Hogan as far as star power goes at this point in time, right? Like, and
not in that company.
Yeah, no. It was, and he was. Hogan had already been a big name at that point in time, and then he just shitted on the kids with the say your prayers. Yeah, you jumped all the way out the fucking window with that one, G. Oh my. Yeah, I can't even listen. I remember when Hulk Hogan turned, and the next day at school, I just remember, y'all see Hulk Hogan trying to be black. I don't know why we associated that with Hulk Hogan trying to be black.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
So you told me from Bash to the Beach, they thought he became a brother.
Because it was because of the beard. And he
after that time.
And they was throwing up the
I get that's funny. All of a sudden
he was throwing up gang signs.
I thought y'all were trying to say he was tanning a little too much.
They were gang banging.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That's straight Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They got C Murder to do the Wolfpack's music, which I did not know that.
I didn't know that until now. Wow.
This match was the one that made me really get behind Sting. Because we hadn't seen pause. Oh man,
in jail for murder.
yeah, he's in. But this was the first after the 18 months of not saying anything. This is the first match that we get, and it's because Hogan got fed up, he got scared, he got backed into a corner, and this is what happened. But for that has to be one of my all-time favorites. And for you, Mike, you hate Wolfpack Sting. I loved it. I love Wolfpack Sting. I felt that was dope of Sting because he seemed more personable. He gave you a dash of Crow Sting, and he gave you a dash of Surfer Sting because Surfer Sting talked. Wolfpack Sting gave you personality. He was Wolfpack was NWO was just the cooler NWO. Let's face it. They were meant to be the cooler NWO. They had the rap music at that point in time. Rap is just up there. Rap is up there.
Rap is crap.
You had Master P up there.
Oh, okay, good, Henning. Good, Henning. Got that real first. Good window.
The CD smash.
Rap is crap.
Kurt Hennig. But you had all of the people that loved hip hop. Kevin Nash, Conan, Luger to a certain point. He kind of said he liked rap music, and you had Scott Hall, right? They all formed the Red and Black. Yeah,
Luger just said that shit. Luger ain't like no damn rap music.
He was one of my vote.
And then I was cool because they put Macho Man in there.
I remember Macho.
When you fuck with Church's money, when you put what the hell is my man's name?
Conan?
Nah, Conan's cool. Disco Inferno.
Oh yeah. Well, that's when they fused the NWO, and that's when it got kind of bad.
That's when it was done.
Yeah, that's when it was done.
Original 5, and that was done.
But you got to remember that the original 5 though was a faction. What it became was a company, and I think ultimately when people say, and I'm with you when Disco Inferno came, it was like, what the F is going on? But it was a company taking over with a company within a company. Right. And it was just never done before, haven't been done since to that capacity. You know what I mean? And again, those reasons alone is why I hated Red and Black. Again, the Crow was an anti-hero. So at that point, Sting should have just stopped being Crow in general. But it was cool. It was look, the paint. Everybody loved it. Management probably was like, you're not going to stop that. We all know these things. Management tells you what you can and cannot do. You know what I mean? But real fast, but if you don't mind, guys, before I get up out of here, because I got another show to do on another network. Yeah, look at that paint. Look like somebody just, God, threw a tomato on his face. The best thing about that whole crew right there was Conan. Okay? That's the best thing about that whole
let me
crew.
speak on this.
That's the best thing. But my favorite Sting match that no one talks about, and not that my favorite Sting match, I'm saying the one that no one speaks about, he had some great battles with Big Van Vader.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Matches, very big matches. And I also talked about it on Monday. Go back and watch the Mike Knoxxx show on YouTube on Pop Review Wrestling and the Mike Knoxxx show on YouTube as well. But I brought up we never got Taker Sting, but I got Vampiro Sting. And I didn't shit on that match the way that some people did, right? Because
you're talking about that match where he burnt him?
No, it was the Buried Alive match at
it's Bash at the Beach.
Was it Bash at the Beach? I know it was a Buried Alive match. Okay.
That was Bash at the Beach because Hogan walked out, and when he was walking out, Vampiro was walking in the building.
And I just remember it and like being such a huge, Vampiro fan. God knows what happened to him now. But was such a big fan of that guy then. But guys, I appreciate you guys for letting me be on.
If we're still on, because I need your answer to the question.
Yeah, what is that?
If you're playing Booker and you have the opportunity to
you told me that before. I was ready for that. I was ready for that one. And I'm gonna answer before I leave, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, take the floor, please.
Who would go over and what type of match?
Well, to me, it would have to be a casket match because that favors the Undertaker in the sense of that. It would. What was the first part of that question? How did we get to that?
Get there? Yeah.
Well, you mean as far as they
plant the seeds for the
storyline. Undertaker somehow kicked Sting out of the Royal Rumble, right? And Sting wants his get back. So at WrestleMania, they go back and forth, however it may be, and Sting gets his get back. You know what? I'm gonna beat you in your own match and in a coffin match, and I would book Sting to win it. And here's why.
Wow. Okay.
Because to Undertaker, you talk about a guy no one talks bad about. It's Undertaker. He's been known forever as the locker room guy, this guy, that guy, this. And I think he could take the loss and not be upset about it. You know what I mean? I think Sting could do the same thing, but I think it would mean, and I say this to say that Taker knew what, let's say, Cena didn't know 20 years ago. Oh, let's put over Nexus that's bigger for them. He thought differently. And we all try to book things. I don't mean that was right or wrong, but he was probably wrong in that retrospect. Sting going over at Taker This is before the street stuff all happened. It was just two guys everybody wanted to see. You could see Sting coming over from WCW. It couldn't have been no bigger. It'd have put him on that upper echelon of all-time greats. Okay, as I said before, a lot of people don't put Sting in their top 10. And I think, like I put before, he is the Man of Steel to Marvel's Cinematic Universe. Sting has to fit in your top 10. Don't have to be your favorite. There's a difference between your favorite and your all-time. Sting's an all-time top 10 because he's the only person who did not rest Vince McMahon there, Vaughn, as you remember, you've seen that tweet. Okay, he stood the test of time, all right, without needing the machine behind him to do it. But hey, guys, I gotta go. I got another show on the network. If you're here and I get back, I'll be here. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Well said, Mike Knoxxx.
All right, King Vaughn, is you getting in on this, man?
He says a
All
thumbs
right.
up. Bring him on in.
All right. Listen, we got the round table continues.
There we go.
So
dizzy.
As we are just about almost to the halfway point of Sting's career, we're in the late 90s. What are some of your memories or moments from Sting? From the Surfer era up to the Crow / Wolfpack era of Sting.
All right, so some of my top memories, obviously, with him saving WCW against NWO. His matches, especially with Vader. I mean, those were some ridiculous matches, especially the Super Brawl match, and even with him sort of continuing this feud with Ric Flair. And so and thing about Sting, you could tell there was a transition slightly going to the Crow, like especially with even like minimal details, like as far as the hair change, and there was even like a point where he still had the Surfer Sting design, but he slowly turns white, and so and then that's when we see the metamorphosis. But the thing about it was, like I said, when it came to Sting, you know what I mean? Like he was very electric, very charismatic. In terms of guys who became major stars outside of Vince's world, I would say Sting's number one. You know what I mean? And so, and the reason why I say that is because because if you look at the other legends like Flair, for example, even he had a cup of coffee in WWE, won the Royal Rumble
for a long time.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like when Flair was like close to the top of his game, like early '90s when he won the Royal Rumble, and became
92.
Yeah, 92, exactly. You know what I mean? The 92 Royal Rumble, became WWF champion. And, you know what I mean? So like, as far as that, like Flair had that type of moment. Sting never had that type of moment, even though he came to WWE later. But still, it's just like for Sting to establish himself like that, I would say that's very commendable. You know what I mean? And so like outside like NWO and Goldberg, really Sting was my favorite WCW guy. If anything, I was even put above Goldberg as far as WCW guys. Sting was my number one without question.
I could get behind that. I could get
music to my ears.
Absolutely. Come on now.
So there's a match that I actually want to reminisce on, and this is actually their second. As we're going to bring in an executive consultant, this is actually their second showing. And it's Sting versus Wolfpack Goldberg. This is
what?
They had
Wolfpack
already
Goldberg?
Wolfpack Sting. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sting versus Wolfpack Sting.
I was gonna say, what timeline is this, Z?
Right, exactly.
He had not beaten the only person at this point. The only person he had not beaten was Sting.
Right.
And that was the one argument that I had going to school, because everybody loved Goldberg, and I'm like, yeah, well, he can't beat Sting. He tried, he couldn't do it. And then Sting was actually about to beat the streak, and Hogan
booed him in the face.
Got mad. Yeah, Hogan got mad.
Oh my God! I'm so
this is the rematch of this, and this time Hogan he still screws Sting. But Goldberg actually gets the win, and last time they screwed him, and the ref saw it, so he DQ'd it, no match.
Oh, okay.
And this time he actually screwed him over. He still stayed in the ring. Goldberg kicks the snot out of Sting after he got hit in the back of the head by Hogan. But by the time he found out it had happened, he had already done the pin. Bret Hart comes out there, lets him know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right with the DDT.
And so, Goldberg pins him kind of reluctantly, but then, I mean, the match is over. It's done. What's done is done. And Goldberg just looks down, he pins him, and then he gets him back up, and he's just like, and they kind of share a hug, and he helps Sting out of the ring. But that one of my favorite matches that I've ever seen, one of the best matches I've seen from Goldberg, since people give him so much flack for not.
Z, why'd you look at me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was doing eye contact.
Oh man! Right,
but I do what. I'm sorry. Did you want to take the floor here?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just straight eye.
No, I wanted to touch on this a little bit because, like, I can't really speak intelligently on Surfer Sting, right? But that Wolfpack stuff, and I remember this. I remember them hyping this up on either. They used to have a Saturday night show, right? It was either that or Worldwide or what. I was a WCW kid growing up. I loved WCW. But when it was hyping this up, I was like, oh, this is going to be a big deal because these guys have never touched. And it's crazy now looking back at it. This was on a Nitro, guys. Like, this is the kind of match that you would put on. This had to have been in September, October. And this was the night after, I want to say the night or the week after War Games, 98. And this should have been a pay-per-view match, but yet it was on Nitro for free. I'm not going to complain because, I mean, I'm
September 4th, 1998.
98, and I just turned 10, so I had no money, so I appreciate this. So this was free, and this was the one time because I said before, like, I was an NWO kid. I loved NWO Black and White. I always hated that the Wolfpack foiled the NWO's plans. So this was the one time I was like, yo, Sting, beat this dude. Get this guy out of here. Take out the trash and just watch the garbage man take him out. And when Hogan interfered, I was like, come on, dude, what are we doing here? But it was a good match. It was good for what it was, obviously, because they've had a few encounters. Like the match I think you was talking about, Ron, where he Brett did the DDT, that was Slamboree 99, and this is when he was Crow, and this was like franchise versus franchise or whatever, or something like that. And they didn't have a winner, but in this one, Goldberg beat him because obviously they wanted to keep that streak going. But this was some really good stuff. This was really good stuff here.
All right. So I want to see, because we're going through so many matches and memories.
Sure.
This is something that I want to know if you guys remember this, because even though as a big WCW fan, I do not remember this. And as I'm watching WCW over,
nice.
I'm right around the time where Sting is gone. So I still got a ways to go. I still got about a good year and a half to get to the point we were just talking about. But I got about actually got about 2 years before I get to this moment.
No.
Does anybody remember seeing this? Booker T dressed as Sting?
No. This had to been 2000, but I don't. I saw Booker T share this on social media. And I said, wait, when did this happen?
Yes. I don't know when this happened, and I'm so mad that I don't. Okay, so it's
not just you. I don't remember this at all. And this is on Thunder. I can tell this is Thunder.
This is Thunder. It's September 20th, 2000. I am going to get on the WWE Network on Peacock and find this episode because I need to know the story.
Whoa.
I had to
know the story too.
SmackDown at this point in time. I had to have been watching SmackDown because it came to a point where WCW was even as a kid, that's 13, 14, knowing the psychology or getting the psychology of wrestling. Even I couldn't stand watching WCW Thunder at
2000. Oh, Thunder.
Yeah,
okay.
Like the only thing that I liked about WCW was the logo. I thought the logo was pretty cool. I thought the logo represented 2000, the new millennium.
It was a change.
The and Y2K. If you
yeah. They did that in April of '99. I don't know why. It was like WCW. When I talk WCW, and I remember and all this stuff, and I remember like that main event was Hogan, Goldberg, Flair, and somebody else, and then Sting returned. I forgot who else was in there. But yeah, when they changed the logo, it was something different. It took a while to actually get used to because the Nitro set. Did you like the Nitro set when they went to 2000? They switched it up.
I did. I like the stage set. It's one of my favorite sets to download on WWE wrestling games.
Oh, they actually made that. Oh, I gotta look this up. Let me try to look this up. Okay. That's amazing.
It's actually one of my favorite absolute things to go back and do is like the era of the, because they were trying to make new wrestlers or the
Yeah.
people that didn't get the shine during the NWO time, and it just didn't work because again you still had, by God, what's Vince Russo? God,
Yeah.
oh God,
Yeah.
he's a piece of shit. I hate Vince Russo with a passion. So it was never going to work. But Sting also faced off in what was WCW's final night.
Yep.
Versus Flair, which actually wasn't a bad match at all.
It wasn't.
No.
For those that do not remember, this is a point in time where Flair was actually looking really rough. He was looking really, really rough.
That spiked frosty top.
And he was started wrestling with a shirt on. Like he was wrestling with a shirt tucked in his pants.
Tucked in the tights, right?
Yeah, tucked in his tights. Like, what are you doing, man? Hey, get out of here. Like,
he had the instinct hair too. If you look at it,
he did, yo.
Well, you know what? You remember what happened was he I forgot why he got his hair cut, but his hair got cut off, and I think he was just growing it back. Because when you said that, I was like, right, he had like spikes in his hair.
Yeah. He looked like his son. He looked like David Flair.
Oh my God! Do you guys remember when David Flair hit the clothesline on the mailman? That was some of my favorite. Some people say WCW 2000 was awful, but they gave some gems because he hit that mailman with the best clothesline I've ever seen, and then hit him with a figure four. And I said, I don't know what is happening anymore, but I kept watching.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, as horrible as it is, as I'm watching it back, like I wanna fast forward through stuff that I just did not get, but
Right.
I can't because I feel like I'm gonna miss something on commentary. I feel like I'm gonna miss something backstage. So I'm like, I just can't.
You gotta take it easy, right? Yeah.
Many people complain about like AEW does a match backstage. What do you think WCW did? Because it was sometimes it was match, interview, backstage, interview in the ring, then match. They would have at least 2 to 3 segments back to back. But again, they were 3 hours. They could do that. Even on Thunder, that was 2 hours. They were doing the same format. So I often thought that the backstage stuff for WCW was much better than their in-ring product because it just felt like they most of the time went off script.
God, I love that you said that because I fell in this rabbit hole on YouTube. And I was watching some of the best compilations of Canyon hitting the Canyon Cutter, and a lot of that stuff was backstage. Just I didn't understand, and when I look back, I'm like, I don't know why he did that, but I appreciate that and thank you, Canyon. So when you say all this stuff was going on backstage, yes,
yeah.
WCW was WCW Mayhem, where they had a whole bunch of.
I had that game. Yeah. And then backstage brawl or assault. That was crap, but I tried with Mayhem. Listen, the best WCW game. I know people are gonna say WCW vs NWO Revenge, but I really was a big fan of the WCW vs NWO World Tour. And I don't know, maybe because it was the first game. Maybe it was the first game for me, but I have a special place in my heart for that.
It's a contender. As a matter of fact, on Mayhem, that's when you had to unlock Ric Flair and you unlock Chris Jericho and I think Arn Anderson.
Yeah, I played as Mean Gene. I used to beat people with Mean Gene.
Right? Yeah.
I kicked ass with Mean Gene.
Oh my God!
I can't believe he's. Oh God! I can't.
I know I disappointed you, Vaughn. Just like how you disappoint me in the chat. So revenge.
That was disappointing.
World Tour.
I liked World Tour.
Revenge.
I take revenge.
I'm not supposed to like Revenge because that's when Bret Hart was in there, and I used to beat Goldberg up all the time. Matter of fact, I just downloaded 2K24, so Goldberg's my first opponent.
Oh yeah. Hogan's gonna be my punch bag on 2K24.
Oh,
he's my punch bag on 2K22 and 23.
Oh
yeah, especially when Juneteenth come around. Oh yeah, New Day. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's hunting season now. I can't wait. Shit.
Y'all gotta let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
I never liked the movie. Z. Never liked the movie.
But let it go. Hogan, he's paid his debt. Like, let it go. Let it go. You can't
I'm sorry, my revenge is on Goldberg. I'm sorry. I should have made that clear.
Yeah,
you can't take away from what he's done in professional wrestling. Jeez.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I give him some slack because it's the 40th anniversary. You know, because of that, 40 years of WrestleMania. All right, whatever. But yeah, Goldberg, he could definitely take the bells. I ain't got no problem with that.
Good job, Vaughn. I'm gonna make sure that there's a increase in pay. I know we don't have that going on yet, but I'll make sure that we put a good word in.
Yeah,
in management.
Yeah, I think I give him an exclamation point with that screenshot of Kofi with the chair over Hogan, from back in like when the Alabama thing happened, and I put this a profile as a cover picture. People lost their mind with that. They thought it was hilarious. But yeah, like I said, 40th anniversary. I kind of like my hands off that one. But yeah, neither here nor there.
Jumping over to the horrible 2000s.
Hey,
we get Sting 2006 debuting at Bound for Glory in TNA. One of my favorite looks of Sting, because up until then we just seen Sting with a singlet, black and white paint. His jackets got a little bit flashier. He added in the red with the white and black, which kind of became another staple for him in his face paint. And I just thought that his TNA run was so
oh my God. Yep.
So great. And as far as legends go, if you want to talk about somebody who came from one company and went to TNA, the top two that comes to mind is Angle and Sting. And it's not even
sounds about absolutely.
Yes.
I agree with that.
But for everybody else that were homegrown, we all know, the staples.
AJ
Styles and Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode.
Daniels. Christopher Daniels. He doesn't even get mentioned enough, but yeah.
He does not get mentioned enough. What's the Homicide and
James Storm. I mean, if you really look at that Fortune 4, that was really like your core homegrown Motor Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. I mean, we could keep talking about that. Maybe we should make some kind of TNA thing at some point. But I'm glad that you pointed this out with Sting, because to me, so I caught the WCW stuff, but when it comes to TNA, it's like I feel like I got more in depth with Sting. This look that you're talking about right here, I mean, and this is I kind of wish he kept it a little bit longer. He came back for Bound for Glory. Kurt Angle was the special ref. He went against Jeff Jarrett. And if he lost, he would have to retire, which meant Sting was going to win. But what's so great about this is like he took some time away. He got leaner. And like you said, the jacket, because he always had that leather jacket, that leather, brooding leather jacket. I'm standing in the rain, and if you come my way, I'll kill you kind of jacket. But this, he was like, it looked like it was almost a fusion of Crow and a little bit Surfer. And I say Surfer because of the tights. So, his TNA run is fantastic. I mean, and you look at... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
He would spend about 10 years? 10, I think.
Close to it. I mean, 2006. Yeah, 8. No, it was 8 because he left in 2014.
Yeah. So to see, like... To put it in a little bit of perspective, right?
Sure.
I want to go ahead and get this picture right. The Samoa Joe, this is the Samoa Joe that Sting faced. Look how young Samoa Joe,
right.
So
right.
Like how young he looks.
Yes.
But Sting was there to do a job, and his job was to elevate those guys. And I've not seen I've been Googling matches as we're talking. I've not seen a bad Sting versus AJ Styles match. I've not seen a bad Sting versus Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode. Hell, even Magnus. I haven't seen a bad Magnus match. That was in like 2011, 2012. But I've not seen a bad match between Sting and anybody not named Jeff Jarrett. We know that. We know what that does.
I love that they even fought each other in AEW. I just thought that was hilarious. It's almost like they can't get away from each other. But no, his run in TNA was just so great. And it's amazing. It's amazing what you're saying. At this point, he had to been in his 50s, right? But I feel like a lot of these wrestlers,
still in his 40s.
he was still in his 40s,
early mid 40s.
Okay. But even still, he was a little bit older, right? But it's something about some of these wrestlers where they get into the later years, right? And they become a better performer because I think about Undertaker, and he was putting on better matches in his late 40s and early 50s, whichever one it is. And I think that was Sting, like you was mentioning. A match, I didn't watch this completely, but and I don't want to jump too far ahead because I know we're going to talk about his AEW run, but I mean, one of the cool spots in AEW is when he did the coming from the ceiling thing. But I saw this clip because someone mentioned it and they said, you know, he did it in TNA. I was like, really? I didn't know he did it because I didn't think he had done it since the 90s. And seeing him do it in a match against Christopher Daniels, I think it was like a casket match or something like that. Yeah. And he comes from the sky. I said, oh my God, this guy's so cool. But no, I agree. He had fantastic matches. He had incredible rivalries. And I did want to say something about this too, because it's TNA run. And there's certain matches, I'm not going to say, oh man, these were 5 stars and these are things you have to watch. But in wrestling, I think we've all had like scenarios about what happened if this person, what kind of magic these people would have had and stuff like that. In TNA, and they gave a lot of stuff like that. Like you mentioned, AJ Styles. He's had encounters with Jeff Hardy. Play a lot of wrestling games, and I would make fantasy matches. I never thought I needed to see this, and I'm not saying I needed to see this, but when I saw him in the ring with RVD, I was like, I didn't think I would ever see this. So seeing things like that, it's like really cool to me. And there's so many other things that he done. The Main Event Mafia, I know you're a big fan of it, and it made me want to indulge a little bit more. There we go.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Because you put him over big time, and I don't know if a lot of people put him in their top 5, top 10, but the way he was mentioning them.
They will not.
Right.
For whatever reason, they will not. And I seen.
Well, you know why? It's because it's TNA.
It's TNA, but I heard this interview and it pissed me off because Jeff Jarrett said the Main Event Mafia gave no viewers. They didn't produce no ratings, and I'm looking like, my guy, you ran TNA. TNA didn't get ratings in the first place, so they didn't take away your ratings, but they definitely gave you a different dynamic, something that you guys didn't see before outside of Team Canada. But it's like to get a faction of 5 of the greatest stars that we've ever seen that all were world champions, flag bearers for the company, and have them join in. So not even one person is better than the other to say like, I'm the one who's going after the championship. No, they was like, we're going to go after every belt. And at one point in time, they had every belt. But I've seen people online say that the Main Event Mafia didn't put over anybody from the TNA original front line. And I'm like, so they, at this point in time, these guys were budding stars like AJ and Samoa and Rude and Christopher Daniels. They were budding stars. And to go in there with these legends that most of the time put them over. I know Joe definitely came out as a big deal because he ended up joining the Main Event Mafia. Granted, it was on the back end, but they gave him so many good matches with him and Kurt and him and Scott Steiner that in his Nation of Violence. This is when people say Tribal Chief, they forget about Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was all about.
You talking about Samoa Joe when he had the machete?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Tribal Chief right there.
No, you're not lying. No, you're not lying.
Tribal Chief. But this era of Sting is we got Sting with no face paint most of the time, unless he was in the ring. You got no face paint. They ran it like the Mafia. They ran it like the Godfather. If you watch any of those movies, you can see where every character gets their role from, right? Except for Booker T. My God, I don't know what the hell was going on with Booker T. Booker T was having fun. He was definitely having fun. He was stuck in King Booker / NWA. Yeah. And I don't mean the wrestling, I mean rap group. Like he was talking proper, and then when somebody would piss him off, he would go straight to the streets. You know, like
wrestling like commentary.
I would, listen, him doing comedy. He was doing his own comedy.
Oh, I love
on
that.
The microphone while he's kicking the front line. And then you guys remember the episode where Main Event Mafia ran TNA the whole night?
Oh, you mean like Black Snow and Lemony Snicket or whatever running commentary?
and
Scott Steiner was
the announcing.
Oh my Lord. Oh, he had me on the floor coming from Dunkin' Donut World. I said, where? Yo, he was out. He was wild. Main Event Mafia gave a lot of great content at that time.
That's what I'm saying. But one of the greatest matches that they did give us.
Sure.
Because the storyline was so dope. The storyline of Angle becoming consumed with wanting to be in Sting's position, and Sting is just calmly letting him go off, and Kevin Nash is looking at Sting like, what are you doing? Like everybody and Nash kind of played the middle of the field, whereas Booker T and Steiner as the tag champs, they went where each other went, and that was to back Angle, but still give Sting his respect. And they come to blows in an empty arena match.
I remember that.
We hadn't seen that since halftime heat with Rock and Mankind, but to see it from TNA was pretty dope, and it got really violent. Like it was probably the most violent we had seen Sting. And I do credit TNA for bringing that out of him, because I don't remember too much hardcore stuff that Sting would get into at WCW, but it got to a point where the whole rest of the Mafia had to come out there and just stop them, like had to stop both of them. And even though we knew it wasn't over, it had seemed that it was over. But again, Sting's acting ability during the Mafia really it catapulted, or was the catalyst for who you got? He spit on him. That thing was a loogie.
I never know how these guys like agree to that spot. It's so gross.
I'd be ready to fight. Like seriously,
somebody tells me they about to.
I'd be ready to go off a shoot. Like
I just did the showcase. I just did the showcase of WrestleMania on 2K, and the Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens, and he drinks the beer, and he's full on spits the beer, and I'm like, listen, dog, ain't no way you spitting all that in my face, dog. Like we still in a COVID era, y'all just out here spitting on people.
Listen, even pre-COVID, I was again when Randy did that thing to Mick Foley, and you can see the spit right there. I was like, nah,
he did it.
It was just like just chilling there. Bro, like
he did it to Triple H too when he was trying to like grab the belt,
and it got in Triple H's eyes.
Yeah,
and you can see, nah. Like if they would have said, "I have an idea for a spot, I'm gonna spit in your face," I said, "I have an idea. There's the door.
There's the door."
I'm not doing that, bro. Nah.
Man, you know, but Randy better be glad that that Vince liked him and wanted to keep him. Otherwise, anywhere else, he would have been out the door. You know what I mean? Like, no way.
So that, like I said, I think that catapulted. That threw me off.
I know that threw me off too. I saw it first. I was like, oh, that happened. I remember the math, but I forgot about like the spit. And I do remember like the breakup, they're breaking them apart, separating them and everything like that because they wanted to keep them together. But yeah, no, the Main Event Mafia was I think was a much needed thing for TNA because it was different. I mean, you have these vets, and you know, you said that they wasn't putting over people. Now I can't sit here and say I remember exactly like if every time like what would they call it, the front line or whatever. They won matches, but they went in the ring with some really big stars, and I think that's kind of putting you over. I mean, you get in the ring. If I'm in the ring with Kurt Angle, I'm thinking this is a win for me, even if it means I have to tap out to his ankle lock. But that's a win.
Yeah, go look at the history of the Main Event Mafia video. Oh, that thing is a good watch. It's a good hour and a half.
Oh, nice.
And it goes through everything. And it's got some great commentary on there as well. So, but this is on the back end before. Before. We gotta talk about it. It's
now we do.
We gotta talk about it.
That's a trigger right there.
Yeah, it's just rough.
This goes right before the I guess you want to say the cracking of Sting's mind when he got fed up and started turning into the Joker. You could see the change in the face paint because the red was more compliant than the black. and that was a symbolism because then the red would transform to go to his smile.
Oh, that's deep. I didn't even look at it like that. That's deep.
Yeah. He would always say there's little stories behind his face paint, which I thought was pretty dope. Saying kind of like how Mysterio is with his mask. Mysterio always played his ear pretty close to pop culture, pretty close to heritage, and there's always little stitching tidbits or just noticing the angle of the crosses either behind his head or on top of his head.
He used to have that Aztec. Was it yeah, and I always thought that was actually pretty cool. I just give Rey Mysterio a hard time, but those stuff were pretty cool.
Yeah, Aztec tattoo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely say that this company was ruined the minute that they brought back the 4-sided ring.
Yeah, that hurt them.
You had something original. You had the X Division matches, and you had a 6-sided ring that you should have never, ever gotten rid of. I mean, I get it now with the new branding, with the rebranding of TNA. Many people thought they were going to bring back the 6 sides, and people did not. They didn't go for it. It said the wrestlers hate the ropes because it doesn't. They don't.
It's different.
Give to it.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of give to it, and in the middle of a square ring, the give is directly in the middle, whereas the 6-sided ring there is no give because it's not big enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't get why you just want to make a bigger 6-sided ring. I mean, looking at it, it looks about 80% of what a 4-sided ring is. So if you just expand that just a little bit to make sure that spring in the middle has some give, you probably widen it out a little bit. But when they brought Hogan in, he tried to do the whole color scheme change, and he tried to bring them to Monday night.
Mondays, yeah.
Why would you?
It's funny when back, and this was 14 years ago, right? 2010. And I remember being for it because I was for TNA and I wanted them to grow. I did a watch back with a friend, and we watched that January 4th episode. Now, I can tell you, in 2010, I ate that episode alive. In 2024, I said, "Oh no, this was bad." And I didn't even realize it because, once again, TNA was my brand. I love TNA, and I'm happy that they went back to TNA, and I hope to catch a little bit more of TNA because I think I love the brand. I want it to grow. Sometimes people say, "Oh, why don't that business company go out of business?" No, I think more wrestling, the merrier, especially for everybody who's involved in wrestling. That January 4th episode was bad. Matter of fact, when the Nasty Boys showed up, I said, "Oh, this is terrible. Why did I eat this alive?"
That had Hogan's name all over it.
Nobody was checking for them for 20
years. Nasty Boys.
See, because the thing is, Hogan's buddies are the Nasty Boys, Beefcake, you name it. Guys like that. That's.
Hold on, wait. Oh, you said beefcake. I'm sorry. I know you don't curse. I know you don't curse, Bob. But I know you said bitch cake. I was about to say,
no,
I know you don't curse. I said that this guy has made Vaughn is going off the deep end there. But I agree. But no, I know you don't.
Because remember WCW when he was the disciple, I didn't know that was him at first, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah,
and
that's definitely
except for when Warrior called him the barber. And
right.
Yeah, but the quick thing about the January 4th episode of TNA, right? Hogan's debut, right? That was the same night that Bret Hart came back and reconciled with Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same.
No, you mean Shawn Michaels made up with him? Bret didn't do anything wrong.
Well, the thing,
there you go.
Yes,
I just want to make that clear. Bret is always right.
Matter of fact, Shawn was the one that pitched the idea to Vince. He proposed the idea to Vince, like, "Hey, I think it's right for to bring back Bret and for us to bury the hatchet." So January 4th was the night that Bret came back. It was not my bingo card for that to happen, right? Anybody's bingo card, right? And so if anything, my attention that night was to that. You know what I mean? Like, this is and like I said, this is no shade to Hogan or any other type of stuff, because this is before all that, before we found all that. But the thing is, because like I said, Jack, you and I both know. You know what I mean? Like, my attention January 4th was glued to Monday Night Raw.
Right. Yeah. No, and I remember going back and forth on that. I don't mean to change it because this is about Sting, but just real quick, I was in between and going back and forth, but I definitely wanted to see Bret because Bret is my all-time favorite. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was going back and forth, but I made sure to catch Bret on that. But you're absolutely right. Bret was on Raw, Hogan, and them were on, and the Nasty Boys. And if I could quote a friend real quick, and one of my friends, he always says this. He always says this when I talk about the Nasty Boys. Said, "Why are the Nasty Boys here?" Just wanted to throw that quote out.
That's why. Like seriously, like dude,
Why?
really? Why? No,
Why?
but the thing is like.
But go ahead. I do apologize because this is about the icon. Yes, the icon
franchise.
No! I had to do it one time for him.
That's right. One time for the franchise.
All right, so we're done now with this portion of
before we bring up the Nasty Boys again.
No, but also one thing I gotta say, I agree with Mike.
Sure.
At the tail end, Sting. If you want to do yourself a favor, if you're talking about the top 10 all-time greatest, like I said, to leave this on a better note, the all-time greatest, Sting has got to be in your top 10. I don't care where he is in that list, wherever it is, that's on you. But he earned that distinction to be in that conversation. He's more than earned that because of who he was, and as far as the flag bearer for WCW. Like I said, the greatest to not have to make a name for himself within Vince's circle, within his bubble, if you will, Vince world, WWE. You know what I mean? And also like with the way he carried WCW with pride, you know what I mean? His matches and things like that, his persona, his popularity, absolutely, he is ironclad top 10 all time in my estimation. I don't care what anybody else that says, but I don't think the TNA stuff is done enough to like erase him from being in that ranking. Like I said, Sting is ironclad top 10. You want to say Undertaker's the top character? Sting is right next to him.
You know what? I have nothing to disagree and say.
No, Vaughn was with the.
We talk about my goat. You talk about my goat. As long as it's positive, God dang it, you can do it.
How can you not talk positive about Sting though? Like Sting is really. How could you not?
That was my point in my opening soliloquy. There's been nothing I've never, even if somebody said to me, even back in the day when people was like, "Oh, Stone Cold, The Rock's my favorite. Who's your favorite?" Sting. Okay. It wasn't like, "Oh, he sucks." Like, who's your favorite? Hogan? Oh, Hogan sucks. I never got that reaction. I never got that reaction when I said Sting is my favorite of all time. Like, but here we see the Joker Sting and
Hogan looking such pain.
That dude's back, me, brother.
Help me, brother.
It looks like he's about to whisper him, "You're not tan enough, brother." Fucking Hogan, man.
He's telling him that I think that you should bring back the 6 sides of steel in a match. You gotta do the lip snap. That man's lips were always husky.
Oh my God! I just said, get this man some water.
Get him some chapstick.
That too.
Either that, or I'll show you clips of main event when Andre took the title.
Oh my God, that's so great.
That's torture right there. That's torture. Exactly. Yeah.
But for some people love this. Some people hated it.
Right.
I am of the ilk of kind of in the middle, only because it's it is a ripoff of Heath Ledger's Joker. Like there's not
totally.
There's not a sense of tinkering with it. Like he tinkered with the Crow. Yeah. There was no tinkering with this, and I hate it because it's like, oh yeah, Joker's like as even though TNA was going in the shitter at this point.
It's funny because it's true. Like you was watching it, he was a fan, but deep down inside he was like, "Yeah, it's dead."
This was the talk of it. I mean, Hogan's group Immortal was some trash, right? You had people that came over, like you tried to make Big Mex a main event player, and for whatever reason he didn't get over, but he got over in the
you're talking about Hernandez, right?
Hernandez.
Yeah.
You got Bobby Lashley was on the verge of coming back. At this point, he came back for a small stint before he actually signed, which I think was like in 2012 or 13ish. Excuse me, went on like a 2-3 year run. But no, this was they reinvented They reincarnated the main event Mafia and had the nerve, the unmitigated gall, to put Rampage Jackson in there. Did anybody remember?
Oh my God! No, I do remember. Do you remember August 1st warning? That was the most cringiest thing I've ever seen. Like when I watch back that clip, I just cringe for Tito. Who's it? Tito Ortiz, and he comes out, and all you see him standing with his arms folded, just like this.
I lost my mind for a minute, but I'm like, hey, this ain't UFC. I love Tito Ortiz. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. But
cool.
TNA.
But did you see the reaction that he got when he got there?
None.
Because there was none. There was none.
Exactly.
That's what made it so cringe. It was bad. So I can just see you like, this is my boy. But
so did you see this? Do you know what this is going to? Where Sting did, or Diddy did a Joker.
Oh my God.
I remember when Diddy did Joker
party. I think
I saw that.
Ago. He was so convincing. He had goons in the streets with the guns, all on the block outside of the party. So believable that he can no longer be the Joker ever. Yeah. The cops came to shut it down. Like the movie studio told him he cannot do the Joker ever.
Came back.
Oh my God! Really?
It was it's pretty dope. If you
he was dead on.
YouTube, yeah,
he was.
YouTube.
He was dead on. Didn't he drop like a He dropped a grenade or something like that. I remember, like, how did you get one of those?
Yeah. He had some real shit out there.
Yeah,
that's probably they told him like, yo, chill.
Okay, so this was.
Matter of fact, last Halloween he dressed up as Batman.
Okay. All right, so this was back in 2013. So this is still TNA is trying to find themselves. They're rebrand. They're changing to Impact, which was stupid. But I was surprised that. I mean, I gave it like 2-3 years max with the name Impact, but they worked it. And it sucks because they had to scrap a lot of stuff. They had to scrap a lot of stuff just to get where they are now. And all I'm gonna say at least 75% of the credit goes to Scott D'Amore. Who
absolutely, I would even give him a little bit more, but like, I totally agree with that, 100%.
He got canned, so that's 2012, 2013, and we get the infamous shot. Well, first we get the tease of I know you guys are definitely going to remember this.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like this is 2011.
No.
Oh no, it's not that. Oh, what? Which one is this?
I don't think so. Hold on. No.
What is happening? Hey, it's Mike. Oh, he got a bat.
Wow.
You're doing it all wrong. Hold up. He's doing it all wrong. What?
Listen, you're from New York. All you know is handball. You know nothing about a baseball bat. Okay? All you know is handball. Handball and Alizé. That's what they do in New York.
Educate me. Listen, I know I didn't see Luthez in person and stuff like that, but I have some knowledge here, buddy.
I didn't see
Does
Luthez in
anybody
person
know
either.
where this tease?
You mean this back? From 2K.
Yes.
Was 2K? Which one was it? 15?
Yeah, that was the one he was on.
Yes, that was the seeds that were planted to let us know that this could actually be a thing.
Oh shit, Chris is here.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna stay long because I have to go to work soon. But I just want to share my favorite thing, if it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, great. Brother. Okay. All right. Look, this is my favorite thing right here. You see him?
Oh,
you know who this is?
The
this
one
is
leaving.
Retired thing. Right? That is my favorite thing.
Wow.
Well, I don't have to see him anymore.
You come on the tribute. You come on the tribute. Look at him. Look at him. Look how giggly he is.
What was the disrespect? I can't believe it. The
Don't worry, Chris is getting fined. Don't worry, he's getting fined.
Yeah, he's definitely getting fined. 12 pack of tacos, 6 for Jack and 6 for me.
Yeah.
See, Mike's talking my language. There we go.
But
no, this was great. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We thought that he's going to be a playable character in the game. It's got to be more to it than that, because let's remember when Goldberg. Remember when the program for Goldberg, they had to go to the little facility that. I don't know if you guys remember, right? When they did
remember
thing when they went to the facility to open the gates and open the door of the facility, right? This is playing off of the WCW Mayhem, because remember they created Goldberg in like that whole lab before he went crazy and broke out and ran.
That was the first time I dropped the F-bomb. Yeah, I remember that.
So
Who keep doing this? Oh my god.
you know who doing it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
But
awful.
this was a tease of what could actually be a reality, and what times have told us with 2K is if you got a legend, they are advertising, they're going to be in the game and they're going to make an appearance.
Mhm.
More than just an appearance, they're actually going to be in action, and we did get that. We got
If I
that,
can,
which people are saying is the worst of Sting's career.
It was.
I don't look at it that way, but
Mhm.
Jack, go ahead. You were going to say something?
No, because I wanted to touch on what you were saying because you was absolutely right. Because when you mentioned Goldberg, it made me think about that commercial that they had with
Oh Jesus, he walked.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Z. I don't blame you. But I wanted to mention because when you were talking about it, I thought about the Ultimate Warrior because they did something similar like that for him too. He had like a commercial or something like that.
They did.
But
Yeah.
2K14.
yeah. That was 14. Okay. Wow. That's amazing. But yeah, when I saw this, I was excited and I thought it was so cool because, you know, they played his WCW theme. They had like a orchestra or something like that. And they were playing it and you see him looking and you're like, oh, they're going to bring him in. And they did bring him in. And I think that's what we're about to get ready to talk about, his WWE run.
Yes, we absolutely are. It was the beginning of his debut at WWE. I thought it was cool. The only thing that I didn't like initially, the vigilante.
The names. Yeah.
It makes sense from their perspective. I think sometimes when you when you love something and they don't give it the respect or admiration you want to give it as a person, it takes that.
No, I'm saying at first I didn't like it. Hearing it from Michael Cole at first, but you know, after a while you keep hearing something, it kind of, all right, it's kind of got a nice ring to it. But for what he was doing to the Authority, absolutely, he was a vigilante. Absolutely. So that's cool. Even if you want to go back to the persona of what Sting was,
sure,
to the NWO, yeah, he was a vigilante. Period. So I got it. I didn't like it at first because I still like the icon, which TNA coined it, and then it just kind of went with him everywhere he went. But vigilante,
except WWE.
Yeah,
except WWE.
They didn't want to use nobody else stuff. They didn't
can't give him that. How about the vigilante?
Yeah, but we got what was the first? Was the first sighting the statue unveiling, or was it Survivor?
No, it's Survivor Series. Survivor Series, and you know what
was getting dog.
Oh my god! You know what's funny? I just had this conversation. I'm sorry. I just had this conversation with the executive consultant, and we were talking. And we said, "Yo, wasn't it silly that they were laying on the floor for like 20 minutes? Because it looked kind of silly to me." I said that was a hell of a pedigree. And when Sting came out, and I agree, his introduction was so cool. So I remember hearing rumors all day, but because I've been burned a few times, I was like, "I'll believe it when I see it. I will believe it when I see it." And when
you've been burnt a few times.
Oh, right, yeah.
Clap, Jimmy Duke.
I will not rephrase anything. I know what I mean. I am secure on who I am. So I'm sorry, children. The teacher is talking. And Mike, I know I'm older.
I never said I was mature.
Oh no, not you. You're fine. You're great. You're just very rude when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog and Brett. So you're getting a fine too. But I do want to mention his introduction was when he came out and you hear the crow and then the lights go out and he comes out. I popped. I popped really hard. I didn't think his first, the stuff with the Authority just didn't do it for me. I was like, but at least we got him. At least he's in WWE. I didn't think I would ever get that visual. And they've always talked about him. They'll have like these top 10s or they'll play these clips, but to actually see him in a WWE arena, I was excited about it. I was like, all right, this is going to be just, I'm ready, rolling the good times. So I was excited when he debuted.
Vaughn, your thoughts on Sting's debut at Survivor Series 2014?
Hopefully you wasn't burnt.
All I say was, it was a long time coming, showing up as far as Sting Maker's arrival. I almost thought it wouldn't happen. I was glad they showed up. You know what I mean? So it's especially like I said, just especially at a Big Four event like that, just a great, super duper surprise. You know what I mean? And like I said, I enjoyed it. Now, as far as his run following that, not so much, but just like
Hold on. We gonna get there bit by bit. We gonna get there. We gonna get there.
as far as the debut, I enjoyed it.
Looking at the Authority side, and then looking at the WWE side, Ziggler and Cena is all they had.
Yeah.
Ziggler and Cena is all that they had, right? But the Authority, you still had Kane, who was still respectable as Kane.
I'm
right?
like, that's not fair. Big Show is, with all due
That
respect,
versus the army Big Show. He was
you know why? Because you had the weapon
Army.
you had the weapon of mass destruction, which was at that time the most powerful weapon in wrestling.
Yeah, but
At
you know
that
what
time.
they had? You know what they had to counter that? They had Mark Henry was still putting people in the Hall of Pain.
Right, but he got knocked out in the first 5 seconds. That was terrible.
100%. I just
But I heard you.
Cena had the best team by far, in my opinion. I thought it then. I think it now.
This was where they tried to, and I guess this is where the Vince McMahon stories come from about Luke Harper's, where they tried to get Luke to be a intercontinental star, right? He was fighting for that intercontinental championship so much, and they tried to.
He's champ at this point, right?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but we saw Ziggler as the last man, and then we get the Crow. I still don't know how I feel about his music, yo.
The music didn't hit like his WCW stuff.
Like I thought it was going to, man. It did not hit like I thought it was going to.
I didn't like it, and I'm just being honest. You know, somebody who I've been accused of being a WWE guy, and you always say yourself you're the head coffee pourer for the WWE.
I am,
but I just thought that was when, and I'm gonna say this in fairness, one of the few times they did something really bad. The whole thing, them NWO coming out, made no sense. And then you had them lose, which makes no sense.
Right.
Like I will always understand Cody losing. It made sense. It's what he had to happen last year. Sorry, Cody Crybaby. He's gonna lose again this year too. But but Sting should have won because Sting was what everybody was waiting on. Was what everybody wanted. There is no reason at all Sting should have lost when he got that match. But the Survivor Series, I remember it, yo. The world went ape shit. They just really did. Everybody's like, oh my God, they finally went ahead and got Sting. What did they do to get Sting to finally say yes? Because that's what it's all about. It was about Sting saying yes. And he did.
And when he's going around in interviews now, and he's making it known of what it was, and he was offered the match with Seth Rollins for the title, which would lead me to believe that he probably was going to win the title.
I would have loved that, actually.
And that is possibly how you could have got to Taker. But his main focus was getting to Taker. He was comfortable with doing whatever, but he still just wanted that Taker match. But Vince threw the title match on as a cherry on top. And it sucks as one of those what could haves that we didn't get to get. And in just to go into visually what Mike was talking about, which isn't that on paper it's not that bad, right? Because Triple H is still in really good shape. From the last time we seen Sting, still really good shape. You would think that this is going to be a banger. I was certainly excited for it. But the minute that they put them on, they were early in the night, which means Sting's entrance didn't get no pop because he's a lights out kind of entrance, and it was still mad daylight outside.
It was.
So
this was day Sting.
At that point, we should have known this is about to be a little iffy.
Yeah.
It's about to be a little
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
But one of the, I guess, nostalgic moments, it would be this point right here. We got the signature Sledgehammer versus the signature Bat. But at this point in time, the match is pretty much it's ran its course. It went over about 5 minutes too long.
Yeah.
If any, but for nostalgic purposes, I was a fan of it. As a Sting fan, him being my personal greatest of all time, I was not a fan, but I don't think his WWE run was completely wasted. The opportunity for Sting versus Taker was completely wasted, but he went like 2-2 for his record. So
injuries happen. That's what happened to Sting in WWE.
Yeah.
Because and that's why I think I at least give it didn't have a great run, right? Because last thing that you remember the most is the Mania match, right? Because shortly after that he does get hurt, and you're thinking his career is over, and
right.
you know everybody
Which
just
is
at that
almost
point
10
hated
years.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
You know what
next.
I mean?
oh, I was definitely on board with that.
But you got to remember,
I was-
Seth Rollins also hurt, for what it's worth, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
At that time, so it was going around that he was hurting people. You know what I mean? But if you look at things in wrestling, things just happen. You can get hurt
They do.
in any single thing, right?
Charlotte.
And Lord knows, none of I've done plenty of my share of DDTs in the past. I don't mean I did it correctly to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So,
Look at and I just want to piggyback on what you said because that's valid. Neville, Pac now, he did a baseball slide and tore his leg or something like that. I forgot what the injury was, but just something simple as that. So absolutely, and I agree. I wanted to touch a little bit on this match. Z, you were saying some things. So you talk about the nostalgia stuff. So I hear what you're saying, Mike, where you said it made no sense for the NWO to help Sting. Yeah, absolutely right. If you're talking about canon, it makes no sense. When I watched it, I sat here and I said, is this 1997, 1998? And I remember as a kid growing up in the 90s, and you had WCW versus WWF. Who would win if this person went against this person? And there was the faction DX and NWO. I remember a friend of mine when we were watching and DX came out. And it'd be funny if the NWO came out. And I heard the music. I'm not gonna lie. I said, oh, you know what? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say this is a 5 stars at the Tokyo Dome, but for entertainment purposes, I gotta sit here and say I was sports and entertained.
Hold on, real quick, bad guy.
Sure. Please.
Mike, are you playing 2K right now?
no.
Are you lying?
From no somebody got his hand caught.
I just happened to look at his face, and it just did not match everybody else's face looking at the screen. And he just had this dog, deer in headlights look. He was just like,
Oh man.
Dude, I'm
and
like,
his eyes didn't move. So when I called his name and his eyes moved, I knew he wasn't.
That is fantastic. I'm jealous of you. You already got the game. I just
Leave me alone.
downloaded it.
It's
I've been playing
phenomenal.
since
It is
Sunday.
I bet. It's a controller. It's not buggy, right? Like I don't.
No,
little-
bro,
2K20.
it's a little
little?
buggy, but
Okay.
but I'm playing what you're not gonna play tomorrow, which is you should have a patch tomorrow that
Exactly.
fixes
Okay.
these things. And right now and you have a PlayStation, so right now the biggest glitch is on Xbox side where the community creations, uploads, all those things aren't working right now.
Wow.
See, and you know what? It's people like you, Vaughn, that I laugh at. Since you want to laugh, that you give all your kudos and credit to a company who don't give two shits about you, right?
Listen, it don't
I
matter if
love
it happened for
Xbox.
Christmas.
I love
Yeah.
Xbox. I
Yeah,
love
hack every
PlayStation.
Christmas.
I love PC. I love them all because I have them all. So to have my loyalties to a company that don't care about they work together, Xbox and PlayStation.
They're gonna get
Mike.
hacked. They're going to
They
get hacked
do.
on Christmas like they do every year.
They
Mike.
do. They do.
Xbox never gets hacked. Ever.
Oh, Xbox never get no
Well, no,
PlayStation
that-
really.
they
There was a
never- that's
PlayStation 3. A
Hold
PlayStation
on.
3 scare.
That one Christmas though, when them people, whatever that group was called, they said, and I'll never forget that. They said,
Spend time with your family.
sit down with your family, and everybody was hacked. Xbox, PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't
What year
nobody
was
play.
this? What
Oh,
year
that
was
was
this?
bad.
I was still in
It's
Delaware
like
then, so it's maybe 10
16.
years ago.
Times, yo.
About 10 years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Oh,
Damn, I had no idea. Wow.
Everybody. It was a
It
Christmas
was the
morning.
first year. It was the
And-
first calendar year of
the
Xbox
new gens.
One and PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
said,
wow.
nope, you are not going to play the game on this day. They
Oh.
shut down every server.
Yeah.
It was
Oh
hilarious.
snap! Oh,
so
damn,
now
man.
anytime I see spend time with your family, that's a red flag right there.
There's a riff. Get your genuine
So
on.
we see this. We see this as we're getting closer to wrapping this thing up. We're into the back nine of Sting's career,
Sure.
which is this is crazy because this is actually we're coming up on 10 years
Right.
since Sting competed. Is it competed or
Yeah.
competed in
Yeah,
WWE
competed, yeah.
because this is the 9th year. Like that is
Next year makes 10. Yeah, it's crazy how that
went
flew
by
by.
so fast,
Yeah.
fast. like he was in AEW for 4 years, 3 years,
4
4 years.
four, because he
They
came in
only-
2020.
They only been around 4 years.
No, they came in 2019.
Yeah, they're 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? If they wasn't on TV, it doesn't count.
No, but they
were
were
not.
on TV in 2019. What are you
No,
talking
they
about?
were not.
Yes, they
were
were.
2019. Yeah.
Bro, they came in 2019, and that's when NXT and them were going against each other. So
Yeah.
2019. I forget if it was September or October, but it was 2019. Google it.
I am.
I'm sorry, I put a little bass in my voice, but I'm very upset.
He did.
Yeah, we jerk.
Stop it, Z.
So
I promise this is just tea.
You sure?
I'm on the liquor.
Oh, there you go. That's it. My man's having a good time. I like it. I love it. But go ahead, Z. You're talking about this match. Carry on.
I just remember seeing, I'm probably gonna watch this match after we get done.
Oh man.
He's lying. He's gonna write it up 82K.
I mean, I still watch it on my computer, but yeah, I'm
There
stuck
we go.
doing this Royal Rumble, dude. I'm stuck doing a.
That's
I
where
got
I'm at
all
right
the way
now.
to-
I'm actually on 30 with 6 of us left in the ring.
I
So
got to 30. I threw
I'm-
everybody out. The last person I had to throw out was.
What y'all doing? Season? You're doing season?
No, it's the last
After
thing
you-
in
after
Road
you
to
get done with
WrestleMania
the
Showcase.
After you get done with
Really?
the WrestleMania Showcase,
Yeah.
you do a.
It's a
Royal Rumble of the
WrestleMania greatest of all time Royal Rumble.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
yeah, like,
And you
like
start
last
first.
year.
Like what Cena did. Like Cena had to face
elimination.
Yeah. I hated that
So-
challenge, by the way.
Yeah, it sucks. So I got to 30 with Taker, and he just threw me over the top. I had Kurt Angle.
Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah,
That's
I
awful.
ain't gonna lie, I cheated. I got Roman. I'm not having
wow.
no difficulty
I'm doing it
here.
with an 86 Kurt.
Yeah, no, I went straight Roman. I got
80. What?
I got like, I
Whoa.
didn't knock
Disrespect
that like,
Kurt. I'm
I didn't knock
changing
that
that.
like, I didn't knock that like.
86. What year?
See, that's the
What
thing.
year angle is
The
this?
Kurt-
What
the
year
Kurt-
angle is this?
That's what I'm saying. The
04.
angle they have in the game is the last time
86?
Angle was there. He
was like
isn't
05.
86 back then. He
05,
wasn't
yeah.
86 back then.
Oh, 05?
Yeah, he
think so,
was
yeah.
that back
What-
then. When he
what
left,
year
he wasn't, you know what I mean?
Faced, Guerrero.
I feel like he was more closer to 90. No, was he like 88, 89?
No, I don't mean like on the
Oh.
game purposes. I mean like when he came back in that last run he had, that's the one he got in the game, and he was not a 90 anything.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about later Kurt Angle. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
oh.
that's why it's but Sting and this match again. I remember this one, boy. Remember, social media's around at this point.
Oh yeah.
And so are we. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Seeing
Sorry, Mike.
that
So was tacos.
Before
Oh my God, I love them.
So it's perfect.
before the debacle of the buckle bomb happened,
Sure.
this actually was a really good match.
Mhm.
Sting was wrestling his ass off. He dove over the top ropes on Seth. Like
Yeah.
he did a lot of the stuff that he was able to do in TNA, and it to me it looked like they did just let him go out there and show that he still has it, right? And
Yeah.
I thought that it was a good match up until the point, but like Sting being the constant professional that he is, he still finished the match. Right? You saw him take the buckle bomb and he got woozy in the legs, and then he tried to walk it off. Seth kicks him in the leg. Then you can see that there's something wrong, and you can see the communication between them.
You see him hitting his leg too.
Yeah, and then he said he told him he didn't have any feeling in his leg, and I think Seth did like one more move and then pinned him.
Right.
So Sting called it and went on to finish the match. I thought it was pretty dope of him to do that. I think it's a really big thing. It's Kobe tearing his Achilles and still shooting free throws. That's what that is. You
That's
still
a great
finish the
reference.
match.
That's a great reference.
You still do the job. You still finish the match. And at that point, like I said, I thought that Sting probably would have won that, just so he can get to Taker, and we could have got Sting, Taker, Royal Rumble. Neither of them have to have the belt. You can have whichever one go over, have a Money in the Bank cash in. That way, neither of them get the belt, and you don't have to worry about an old person having the belt. It would have been great.
I honestly would have loved Sting to have a run, and he didn't even have to have a long run. It could have been something like I don't
think
know,
they would have gave
a
him
month.
one.
Yeah, I hope that they would have, but yeah, this match. I mean,
Goldberg, so anything was possible.
Twice.
which is horrible.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are just trying to just work me up. But yeah, they did give
Does
it
he
to
have more championships than Bret Hart?
No.
Does he?
You know, this was so much fun, Z.
How
I
many
can't
chips-
wait for the next.
How many chips does Bret Hart have?
Like,
A lot,
WWE?
a lot, a
World
lot,
Championship.
a lot.
as far as
WWE?
World Championship, 7, including WCW.
7?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
far as-
altogether
How
7.
many does Goldberg have? It's got to be
3.
close. I'm telling you, I'm not even trolling.
It might be close now because he had the Universal.
what
What,
I'm
I'm
twice?
about to look up right now.
Yeah, look it
That's
up.
what I'm saying.
It might be close. It might be very close.
Yeah, but I don't think Goldberg got more overall titles than Bret.
If you're talking about like overall, yeah.
You
then
said
Brett
overall, yeah,
gotta
you
be-
talking Intercontinental tag teams. all
Intercontinental.
that
Oh, you
stuff.
mean over? You saying overall?
No,
Yeah,
I mean like
Bret's far more
championships.
decorated than Goldberg.
Right.
Oh, no,
championships.
Brett.
He's far way. He's way more
I
decorated
meant,
than Goldberg.
like world championships as well.
Okay, I thought.
I think they might be a little. They might be closer now. It might be a little closer now. But what's
Look
this?
it up now.
Now we're into into the
AEW, right?
AEW run.
That drink hitting in right now, right? Z?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm not even
I know.
buzzing right now. I'm not buzzing,
Nah,
right now, but I am enjoying myself. And shout out to everybody in the chat because we've been going on for an hour and a half. I even
Yeah,
think this
man.
show was going to be worth an hour and a half.
5
Actually,
more
I did.
titles.
But no,
I
but
was-
really,
I was sent to shut it down, but I let it go.
Yeah,
You shut
Well, I'm
it
glad
down.
you-
No, absolutely
Brett
not.
has seven.
No. If we
How
gonna
much
let
is
the
it? Oh, no,
AEW
Von-
crew go
Von-
on, about their soliloquy about WWE on the AEW show, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about
and
this.
I'm glad that you broke it. But Z, I mean, Vaughn wanted. What was it, Vaughn? You said
Oh yeah, so I looked up. Goldberg has 5 world titles. Bret has 7.
That's a
take
respectable
that, Bill Goldberg.
That's a respectable
And
5.
Bret's had longer title runs, by the way. too.
Yeah, but Bill's been wrestling longer.
No, he hasn't.
Oh yeah, because
No, he
You know-
hasn't.
Oh yeah,
you know, I cannot wait to talk to management about you, Z, because you are out of hand.
Bret had
Z,
like a
Z is
45
solid.
career.
And you know what, Z? You've misled me so many times. You said
Hold on,
Z
one
is
more time.
solid.
Real quick, I
But you are
apologize.
management.
Oh,
Listen,
why are you staring at me?
I
Am I
apologize.
saying the right word?
I
Okay,
apologize.
no,
Bret
it's just
had a
like,
long
And
career.
real quick, I'm gonna big up this, and I'm look at your box, and I'm gonna tell you,
Your box?
sincerely from the bottom of my heart,
Wow.
sincerely
okay.
from the bottom of my heart, Scorpion Deathlock over the Sharpshooter 9
Oh,
times out of 10
my
any day of the week.
You know they're the same.
oh
thing.
my goodness.
No, they're
One
different.
left leg and the other one.
Right, like,
One
yeah, they are
goes
the same
over,
exact
the other
move.
goes under.
Yeah.
Bret
Yeah,
Hart is
there's
way
a-
more. Listen, we're not going to do that. This is a Sting tribute show. So for one night, I will let there be no Sting slander.
That's right.
So, but
There should never be any Sting slander. Sting is great.
however, that comment is completely what I say about music. What I say with comedy. What I tell you, subjective. There it is.
There we go.
Subjective.
Good job, Mike.
Yeah, I'm old. I'll be forgetting shit.
I know.
So we're going into our favorite or the most memorable TNA. I keep calling it
AEW. Got you, brother. AEW.
AEW moments,
Mhm.
or matches.
Sure.
And one of the favorites I just gave a preview of is the teaming of Sting and CM Punk.
Mhm.
Right? It's something you didn't think that you needed to see, but to see that is a pretty epic picture.
That
Like,
is.
that's an epic photo for Sting to inherit the best in the world face paint, in which there is no face paint for best of the world, but he took the logo. What, that man should never be on a Sting tribute.
TM Surfer.
And then CM Punk to inherit the surfer look. I thought it was pretty dope. And then you had Darby there somewhere doing whatever he does. He just still had his
Doing
Trying
Darby.
to die. Trying to
Doing
die.
Darby. Doing
he was
Darby
still
things.
He was still doing his regular paint. Like Darby was still doing his regular paint, but and I thought that it was pretty dope. The match itself was really good. To get a returning CM Punk, I think this is one of the first matches, like 1, 2, or 3 match, maybe the third match that we got from Punk.
Without getting hurt.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh Lord.
I'm
I
a
thought-
big CM Punk fan, but he stays injured the last 3 years.
Dude,
He's-
stay.
I don't know what he's doing during his camps, but
It's
like
called
he probably works
steroids.
out. It's like he works out and then he takes a break. He works out and then takes a break.
Steroids.
Like
STEER.
it's too. I don't know, but yeah. Anybody have because they took on MJF
I think it was
and
yes.
FTR,
FTR, I believe. Yeah.
And this is while they were on the back half of the Pinnacle, so to speak. Pinnacle wasn't known as a thing anymore because Wardlow had kind of broken off from MJF. MJF was kind of getting his singles run, and FTR kind of were at his side. They're really good friends with CM Punk. They've been on record of taking Punk's side for AEW's Brawl Out backstage. Does anybody remember this match?
I do. I remember this match. I remember MJF running out and these guys taking the win. I forgot who they pinned, but I remember this match, but more vaguely. I can't say I can't talk on it intelligently, but I do remember it.
Intelligent.
And that is that's the best word I got. See,
No, I remember it being a big CM Punk mark. 100%. I remember marking out for it. I remember it very, very much, and what happened there. So
I was waiting for some context, but yes, I remember it too.
That's CM Surfer right there. That's CM Surfer right there.
Surfer Punk.
Surfer Punk right there.
There we go. Good job.
There you go.
The match between I'm sorry.
Don't
the AEW Revolution match between, which is the to my knowledge, it's AEW's first attempt at a cinematic match.
him and Darby.
It's their first attempt at a cinematic match, and this is Sting's first match in AEW, and it happens to be versus Team Taz, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, versus Sting, and this is when Darby was high on his TNA championship run. This is the second belt of the TNA run, I believe. Maybe it's the first one. Second one.
No, this is the second one because it's black. The original one was red strap.
Yeah. This match, if I didn't know it was AEW, I would have thought the production wise it was WWE. It was a beautiful, beautiful match to me. And it still showed Sting off. And I think this is just to get Sting's feet wet, if you will, just to see how he could fare and if he could still keep up in a sense. And I think that they got the formula right with Sting. However, I am a little peeved with the formula that they got with Sting, and that is the fact that every single match was a tag match.
I think that was to protect him, though. I think that, and it might have been, I don't know for sure, but from a lot of things when
Let me ask you this, bad guy. I don't mean to interrupt you. How can you protect a man that's diving off of shit he shouldn't have?
Right.
Fair
At
enough.
that point,
that's
you
fair.
don't need to protect him. That's all
I
I'm saying.
think no. That's a fair point. No, that's a fair point. I'm just saying he probably felt like, hey, I might not be able to go in a single, but in a tag match, because these were regular tag matches before he was jumping off balconies and stuff. Fair point. That's a fair point. But I think the tag matches were just, hey, let's see what you can do, and hey, I do this, and Darby do that, and then I guess he just went crazy because that's a fair point. Because after a while he started jumping off stuff, and I have no answer for that. I have no recovery
I
for
don't
that.
understand. Like, how can you protect a guy that like literally is doing stuff that is 60-40?
But wouldn't you say that was a little after, though? Wouldn't you say that was after? Like, after a while, he started jumping off? Because he wasn't doing that originally. Although, I forget.
He did a big jump in a cinematic match. He did a big jump.
But cinematic. So
It was cinematic. We don't know if he jumped for real. That's why.
Yeah, cinematic. But I think after a while. But that's a fair point, though. Like, after a while when he started jumping off stuff.
What match was it? Him and Jeff Hardy and him and the Hardys, right? Or him and I don't know. But
Was this
Hardy
AEW?
Yeah, Jeff Hardy did some shit off. They were outside in the
Was that the one with Darby and Jeff Hardy? And it was like the Owen Hart tournament, and they were
it was some kind of tag match because they went.
Okay.
They were up against the Butcher and the Blade, right? And they were out in the merchandise area, and
oh, I remember that. Yeah,
Sting is down bottom and Jeff Hardy's up top, and he's waiting for him to get in position. And he climbs like the rafters of the building. Like he's climbing the big metal piece that nobody can get a grip on. And then he climbs the little bar beam, and he like,
adjusts himself. Yeah.
Yeah. And he jumps on the merchandise table. And I'm like, and then Sting thinks it's a good idea to go off of a ladder. It's like, I don't know, like 20 feet in the air, like in the middle of an AEW crowd. So like he really was doing some stuff that like you shouldn't be doing. Mike, I see you got some stuff Prime. So what do you got for me? Because I see you got some stuff Primes. Let's go. Let's dive into it even more, brother.
No, it was just rehashing.
I like how you put dive and Sting.
That we went. Well, I want to speak on your cinematic match because as I said for years, I thought that's how him and Taker could stay around.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that match, and like you said, we might have watched it together, and was like, "Yo, this production was really, really, really good, and was really put together very well." So I thought they should have. I personally think they should have more matches cinematically for people like Sting and older guys and people who are not the greatest wrestlers per se, but can tell a story. That's all I had. What I was curious about what we went through this past weekend in this goodbye match. That's what I had up next.
Okay. So I got one more. I got one more thing in mind that I wanted to go in Sting's AEW career. The match between the one that you had, the where he just did the high diving.
Yeah.
That versus the Bullet Club.
What was that at Forbidden Door, right?
Forbidden Door 2022.
Okay. Oh, okay. He really looked like Batman when he does it.
I don't know who Shingo Takagi is, whatever his name is. I don't know who the hell that was, but for Sting to fake them out the way that he did, and then they all are waiting for him, and this fool is on top of the tunnel. Chef's kiss, because I think this is the first dive. I don't think that he did he might not have did a real cinematic, a real dive in a cinematic match, but this is the real live dive that we've seen. And are they still at Dali's place at this point? They're not at Dali's place.
If this is 2021, I think they are. I think they are, but I'm not sure.
To my knowledge, this is the first live
first of mini dives.
First of what would be many dives from Sting, and I thought that he definitely wrestled his ass off. This is still pre bomber jacket Sting. I don't know. I hate bomber jacket Sting. Like, why are you coming out in bomber jackets all of a sudden? It just pissed me off. It gave me a rash. It made my balls itch. Like it just pissed me off.
Did you go to the doctor?
Why are you? No.
Oh
no. It just. I don't know. Just bomber jacket Sting just made me feel like he got that shit from Jamaica Ave. And he got
that's such a shout out right there, because I'm a Queens boy. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, I know them bomber. I'm gonna buy one and wear it on the show just for you, Z.
My mom used to coerce these shopping trips. She would rent a bus, and we would have to pay like $30 to get to and fro Jamaica Ave, and we would just go on the strip. And this is how we
okay.
This was early 2000s, like 2001 to 2005. And we would that's how we would get back to school shopping done with $150.
I'm trying to think about that school place, but I think, and I don't know if it's still there now, but it's funny that you say that, but go on, because everything's so different here now, but go ahead.
I just think it's funny because back then everybody thought that shit was real. You couldn't tell nobody it was
G units and S Carters. And I got SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. So that was 2004.
Three.
Yeah, I was going to, yep.
That's back when throwback jerseys were much bigger too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm 2000. What?
I got it for $20, yo. $20.
I got mine for $130, and I didn't realize it was like a 3X, 4X. That thing, it was like
Axe Dice. You don't want to see Mike Knoxxx still got that jersey game. Tell him. I know I'm not. Dice. No, I got at least 50 jerseys in my closet.
I knew that Carmelo joint off.
All Mitchell and Ness, all of them.
And Mitchell and Ness is in Philly too, by the way. Yeah. I'm definitely going to stop over there. Yeah.
Prepare to have about 500. This is because today's prices ain't yesterday's prices.
Ain't not- I'm already looking into my closet like as we speak. I got a number of merchandise jerseys right now, right?
All right, so we got about 10 minutes left, so I definitely want to get the answer to everybody's question. The question of the show, if you do not know, is if you could do Sting and Taker right now, how would you do it? How would you get there? How would you book it?
What a picture.
And who would go over and what type of match? So we need to know how the feud would be started.
Mm-hmm.
Who would go over in it, and in what type of match? We're gonna save that to the end of the show. Mike, you still got some slides for me, brother, because I'm looking down. I'm down there looking, and I want to go into the one with his sons at Revolution.
Okay.
See, this is what we need on shows. We need a backstage person to get us slides. And I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I have that person.
Me and Mike are the only people that do this, and I do this by myself. But
I have that person. Before I had that person, I was by myself for 13 years. So shit.
There we go.
Here we go. We see this, and this is an amazing shot. But immediately, as his first son came out, I knew that it wasn't Sting.
F you.
Reason why
I screamed. I was like, yes, sir for Sting.
I said, we're in a party together, and I'm like, oh, sir, okay, this is nice. And then Mike goes, yeah. I'm like, that's not him though. Like, like he's just broader in the shoulders and the waist.
Yeah.
Right. He's a little
He's a little thicker. Yeah.
I didn't want to say thick. I didn't want to call a man thick, but you said it. So thank you.
I did.
I did want to say
that. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, Mike.
But the other son, yeah, Tony. On air, bro. The other son definitely looks like Sting's size. Pause. Mm-hmm. As a member of the Wolfpack, he definitely he could pass off as Sting.
Wolfpack, yeah. The only thing that threw me off here was I don't remember Sting having the reverse. Where it was
he wore them one time.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I thought that was super dope because, I think it's it might be 2K14 or 15 that they actually put the red and black in instead of the black and red.
It's 2K15.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's one time, and I think that he knew they were it was a little too much red. Like it was too much. Like the red face paint is a bit much, but then you got the red and the black tights. My nigga.
It seems like a lot. Like even when I saw it, I was like, I don't like it.
It's a lot because it contrasts with the face paint because the face paint is a little bit darker.
It is ketchup.
But I this amazing start to that match. His sons get off. They horrible stinger splashes, by the way. Horrible stinger splashes.
Well, no, the first son didn't get the same air as the second one. The second one, he really got some height on that one because when you hit a stinger splash,
but they both jumped too far out. Right? They both looked like they were starting back to do a Superman punch. And then just ended up doing like a regular fall into like a regular clothesline. It didn't even look like a splash. It's just like a clothesline. That was a pet peeve of mine, but that's just me being.
They're out there with their dad on their last match.
It doesn't even. Yeah. Exactly. So
they're drilling in the nerves, the excitement, the emotion. Everything took place into that for me. So you're right. It's wrestling fans today were just hypercritical. It's people today were hypercritical. So we peeped that. But to me, I thought Sting evened out that match. And I we talked about this already on Monday. And we talked about it in person in length. I love the match.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Vaughn, your thoughts on Sting's final match?
I mean, it was a perfect send off. What better way to close out your career than to have a match with your sons? You know what I mean? And so, and just like as Mike said, I mean, if you're in the ring with your dad in his last match, of course that adrenaline's going to kick in. You know what I mean? So, and I like how this is a full circle moment. You have Surfer Sting, Crow Sting, which is who Sting is now, and you have Wolfpack Sting. So, all 3 in 1. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool.
Bad Guy, your thoughts on Sting's
Uh,
final match?
you know, I saw clips of it. I didn't watch it entirely. I thought it was
Still?
really cool. No, I have not. I mean, I'm not even gonna hold you.
It's
The
almost
stuff.
been a week.
Yeah,
Wait,
well,
hold on, Bad Guy. Hold on.
Oh,
Bad
here
Guy.
we go.
You know what?
Here we
You
go,
know
Z.
what?
What's going on, Z?
This right here is some Bret Hart shit for sure. Did you get kicked in your head too and forgot what we supposed to do today? We having a
I'm about to be
tribute show.
really Bret Hart because I'm about to
For
hold this
sure.
grudge for the rest of my life. That's what I'm about to do. I
We
want you
have
to
a
know that right
Sting
now.
tribute show, and obviously we're going to talk about his last match. And you don't watch the last match? It's not pirated at this point. You can get it for free.
I'm just gonna spin in my chair and ignore everything that's happening because that makes me feel better. What my thoughts on the match? You know, like the glass spot just didn't do it for me. I'm just not a fan of those kind of things. But I was happy that he was happy, and this is how he wanted to go out. This is the way he wanted to go out, and just to show you the kind of man Sting was. I mean, to start take some word from you earlier in the stream, Z. You mentioned and you said like no one's ever said a bad thing about him. This is the kind of guy Sting is. He was ready to lose. So from what I'm understanding, he was ready to lose. He was like, I'll put you over. And they had to convince him like, no, no, you should go over. You should go undefeated. And I thought that was a classy move on their end. So thoughts, didn't like the glass. Other thoughts, I'm glad that he went out. He went out on his terms because the way his WWE run, I mean, that was sad. And you know, it's like, man, he didn't get to go out the way he wanted to, and to see that he could do it in this match, I'm happy for him. So good for him.
All right, I'm gonna keep you with the hot mic right now. Mike, leave that up for me right now. Bad Guy, give me 3. Give me 3 of your favorite Stings on this graphic.
All right, so I'm definitely going with Crow. I'm gonna go with Joker.
Which Crow though? I'm sorry.
I gotta. Okay. Crow. Oh, because there's 3 pictures of him. So the one with the without the logo doesn't do it for me. So I'm gonna go with the third Crow because it has a logo and he was still not talking and stuff. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Joker's Sting. And my last one that's rough. Well, Joker, boom, boom, boom. And I feel like if I say TNA, I gotta pick a version of TNA, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely have to.
Yeah, I have to, right?
You got 1, 2, 3.
There's a
4,
few of them.
5,
I'm trying to think of my
7,
favorite
You got
version.
8 versions of TNA Sting.
9.
9?
Mafia.
Yeah.
9 is Mafia.
Yeah.
Mafia.
10. No,
Shit.
not 10.
Oh,
That
no,
first
the
picture,
one, the red and black at the,
the
top.
one beside
Who's that?
the Wolfpack Sting, that's his first TNA shot.
No, that's WCW.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
that
You talking about with the shirt with the jacket? That's WCW.
Yeah,
That's
I'm thinking about
WCW.
when he had the red
with the
face.
6-pack.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the yeah. No, that was a badass look. And he started wearing leather pants. Leather pants Sting. Oh God, who would be? I'm gonna go with. I said Joker's Sting. You know what? I'm gonna go with my other favorite, even though he only did for a brief, the Sting, and I don't see him up here, but the Sting when he came out for Bound for Glory, 2006. I like that. I don't think we were talking about looks. You're just saying in general, but I'm gonna go with that.
That would be the one with the purple.
I
want to say the one with the belt. In the
Sure.
second row. I think
Okay.
that's him because that's the first iteration of Sting from either that one or the one with the red and gold jacket towards the bottom. I think those are the closest to the 2006, 2007 Sting. Actually, I think that last one, that might be the new TNA belt.
Looks
Or
like
close-
it.
it's the.
I can't really
before
see
they
it, but yeah.
rebranded one. It's the new one before they rebranded. So that still really good choices. Vaughn,
Thank you.
From this image, your favorite 3 iterations of Sting.
All right.
Did you get the Royal Rumble? Son of
Oh man, I need
Hey
to find
Google,
out.
turn on Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for me, I would say Pro Sting with the logo. I will go with TNA Sting with the as a champion. And I would go with, I almost want to say at least pick a Surfer Sting, just for just for the sake of it. I'm thinking probably Server Sting with the jacket. I'm talking about like buzz cut Sting.
Well, they all have buzz cuts.
Blonde, you talking about blonde buzz cut?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So the one was like the teal.
The third one.
I know which one you're talking about. The third one on the board.
Yeah, the third one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
That's my favorite Sting. Is Surfer third one Sting.
Yeah.
Actually, after that, to be fair to myself, I would go the fourth Surfer Sting because that's the one where he started becoming world champion and things of that nature. Going against Ric Flair more. And then for me personally, I would go with Joker Sting. It was just something about that iteration at this time in this man's career where he could still reinvent himself.
Yeah.
Right? To me, so like Mafia Sting is just Steve Borden. You know what I mean? But Joker Sting was like, because if you just go back and watch those promos he were cutting, they were so like he belonged in an insane asylum. You know, he's writing on people's faces. You know what I'm saying? It was 100% Heath Ledger.
That picture of Hogan and Sting.
It was just amazing to me. So yeah, those are my three favorite Stings. I again, nothing against everybody's favorite, you know, the Crow Sting and things like that. If I had to pick my favorite Crow Sting, it's definitely the one with the where he was silent with the long hair when he's coming down off the rafters. The first one on the second row Sting. By far, if I had to pick a Crow favorite Sting, but those are mine.
I'm gonna go with my honorable mention would be that fourth Sting buzz cut because that is what introduced me to Sting. So that got my foot in the door, and I would tie that with main event Mafia Sting because I thought his acting in that storyline, that whole arc was great. I spoke about that earlier. I think that showed Sting's range a lot. And then add on the Wolfpack Sting, and then the first iteration of TNA Sting from like 06 to 08, because that's really what kept me watching TNA because Monty Brown was gone, and he was the only reason why I used to watch TNA because I wanted to see somebody get pounced. But to answer the show's question. Sting versus Taker. How do we get there? What match I would book? And who would go over? I would do it in a sense of maybe some sort of Hall of Fame celebration of, you know, alumni getting together. Sting sees Taker, and you know it's the story of Dom and what's Dom's best friend? Fast and Furious. What's Dom's best friend?
Oh, Brian?
Dom and Brian, right? So and Brian looks at Dom and he says, you know, I still want another shot. And Sting kind of gives that to Taker, and Taker kind of gives him say when and where. You know, and for months you get a build up. I would do it as a last man standing match. I feel like to do it, I like what you said, Mike, but to do it as a casket match, it's almost a guaranteed that Taker doesn't lose too many casket matches. I don't think he's lost.
He's lost a few.
He's lost a few.
He lost a few. He lost one to Randy. Like that's one, and he lost one to Yokozuna too. I remember a whole bunch of people jumped. Your mic, your mic.
That's what I was going to mention, the Yokozuna one.
Oh yeah,
I remember that one. The whole. That's when I realized no one messes with Taker because they all jumped him and put him in the casket. But go on.
I would go. Of course, I would go with Sting going over. Not just because he is my favorite of all time.
Sure.
But for the simple fact of it would have to be on a WWE stage, and WWE would have to right some wrongs. And I think that Triple H being in total control would right that wrong. I think that Triple H, we all know how much of a historian Triple H is when it comes to pro wrestling. He does believe in giving people's flowers. So I don't think that the decision for Triple H to go over Sting at Mania was H's doing. I think it was more so Vince's. And I would like the story to be the last one standing from WCW, Sting, right? And you could pay respect to Sting, and you could still make Taker look respectable in the ring. That's how I would do it. Bad Guy Jack, how would you book this how do you get there, and who goes over in what match?
You know, I really liked what you said there, the last man standing, and him being the last man standing. And you mentioned it was so symbolic. How would I get there? I mean, I do like the Hall of Fame thing. Everyone's having a good time and stuff like that. How do we get there? How do we get there? I feel like it's got to be some. I would do this. I would have something where Undertaker just won WrestleMania. There's nobody left. Blah blah blah. Something like he's talking. The lights go out, and you know you hear a crow. You don't see nothing, and you kind of build to something like that. I know it's a. There we go. Good job. But eventually, and I can't even point out how long it takes, but eventually we see Stings. He's in the rafters. I think that's the perfect way to do it. And we build to this, and you build to this, and eventually they have some confrontation. They say some things. I would do this at Survivor Series. I wouldn't do it at Mania because I just feel like you talked about guaranteed wins. Taker just don't lose. I mean, obviously, but you know, Taker don't really lose Manias. So I would do Survivor Series. It seemed like a better fit. And for me, you guys said casket. One said last man standing. I'm not gonna say ladder because that's just not their forte. But I would just have them have a regular fucking match. I let them go out there, let them showcase what these guys can do. These guys are older gentlemen and showing that they still got something in the tank. And who would I put over? I mean, I wasn't trying to copy off you guys, but I feel like Sting would have to go over because Undertaker's already a made man in WWE. If I can use it as an example, when AJ Styles came to WWE, John Cena was already a made man. AJ needed those wins to show that he can hang with the big boy. And there's a lot of people who does not watch WCW. They're going to say, who is this guy? So if someone see him beat Undertaker, they're like, whoa, that's a big deal. Sting goes over a regular match. You give him 20, 25 minutes. I forget how long Michaels and Taker's original WrestleMania match was, but I would give him that kind of time. And I think those guys would kill it. So that would be my way of booking.
Vaughn, close us out, brother. What you got for us?
So as far as that, I'm not just saying this just because it's because it Sting's tribute night. You know what I mean? Because I would keep it a Survivor Series. I probably have it as a last man standing match. So that way, I guess it'll still make Taker look great, but also at the same time elevate Sting. So I would give it to Sting on this one. So now if it was WrestleMania, it'd be a different story. I wouldn't really give it the same type of length of time as Taker and Shawn, but it would still be a pretty solid time frame. But for that sake, just for just to give Sting more respect and more credibility within WWE than what happened at WrestleMania 31, I would give the W to Sting. Just in that aspect. Like I said, keep it a Survivor Series because it's WrestleMania. It'd be a different story for me. But obviously, I keep it a Survivor Series. I give it a Sting. Just for that aspect and make it go full circle because I think Taker is not as superpowered Survivor Series as he is at WrestleMania. So I'll give it a Sting at Survivor Series.
I know we've gone long, and thank all to everybody who's listening and tuned in here in this late hour. We appreciate y'all. But I think, I like to do a do-over, but I won't. But second, because y'all both said all y'all said some intelligent things.
What about the Boneyard
intelligent
match?
wrestling song? But real fast, guys. What Sting, what Taker are going against each other? I think that matters because what made me think about was that at this picture, that Sting is not beating that Taker.
No, he's not.
Give me 98 Taker. Give me 98 super foul, the cross Taker. Give me Taker that was
versus what Sting
and Stone Cold on a cross versus.
But what Sting? Sting right after Rafter Sting because that's the best Sting.
It would have to be. It had to be Crow Sting.
It had to be Crow Sting.
I'm gonna go one with this,
or give me early TNA Sting because he was still really strong. I would say late 1999, early 2000 Sting because he was still in tip-top shape, having classic bangers with the likes of Booker T, Scott Steiner, Donna Dallas Page, their top cream of the crop. So I would go with late 99, early 2000s or TNA Sting.
I love that you asked this question, Mike, because I think that is an important thing. But I'm going to go with this because I heard this recently and I was like, that would be so cool. And I understand that this Undertaker was not the Undertaker like putting on matches, but there was something special about the Grey Glove Undertaker. So I don't know. I would like to see Crow Sting against Great Glove Undertaker.
There it is. I was just curious as I saw the picture. That's all, and it made me think like which version was going against who, and we know that matters. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Ain't nobody taking early Usos versus FTR, but you'll take Usos 2 years ago versus FTR in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Kind of just to put things there. But great show, Dice. Great tribute to your
fantastic,
favorite wrestler
Dice. Good job.
of all time. It really was. Because I do think, as much as we gave Edge those flowers and things like that, with all due respect towards any Edge heads out there, Edge won't hold it for you in the history of your world the way Sting does. That's just my opinion. Okay, I'm not saying accolades. We got to think one company's been around longer than the other. One company's a bigger machine behind the other one. But as far as like who you're going to remember, I don't think Edge should be in your top 10 of all time. Not your favorite, best of all time.
Favorites, but he's not
right.
In best.
But your top 10 of all time, Sting to me has to fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for staying here to chat. Y'all have been dope. The viewers have been dope. Steady, constant viewers all freaking show. This has been a tribute to Sting moments. Listen, this is going to look good for my numbers. This is going to look great for me, guys. I just want to say thank you to everybody. I know. Listen, Twitter is popping right now. Most of our viewers are on Twitter right now. I never get this many people on Twitter watching at the same damn time. But I do want to thank you. I do want to thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, please! It's definitely the bad guy rub. Enjoy this rub. And I know how that sounds.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, you got the bad guy
Grayson
rub.
Waller now? What? Listen, no, I just have the benefit of the circumstance of what has happened in professional wrestling. Sort of like how I get the benefit of the rub what's going on in SmackDown right now, because SmackDown just seems to be the most interesting show. And you guys can catch me this Saturday.
Yeah. Good job.
You guys can catch me this Saturday at 12 p.m. Talking about everything that goes on tomorrow on SmackDown, because The Rock is still supposed to be there. We're going to get Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross again. So
hold on, and what's called them are showing up too.
Cody and Seth.
Cody and
Seth.
Yeah.
Saturday is going to be a fire show.
Oh yeah, y'all guys be killing it on Saturdays. That's been my afternoons listening to you guys. Fantastic team right there.
And then after that, you got Collision still. You got Mike Knoxxx show on Mondays, and then we got NXT.
No. You do look. You did a fantastic job for your show. Good job. I don't see my poster, but I'm going to do it.
I don't have one. It's not even. There's not. I just had to.
Oh, Chris is definitely getting. He's getting double fine.
Every room is different. Like when I pop into every different room, I'm like, oh, this Mike room has everything ready for you. Ready.
Oh yeah, Mike does
every type of graphic, every commercial.
Well, Mike is Zordon.
I'm still looking at commercials that I did from 3 weeks ago. I'm like, all right.
I thought you got that reference.
And I'm sorry, I did not want to run a commercial, but you know what?
That's good.
Sign off, I will run a commercial before we sign off. Everybody, make sure you tune into everything that we have going on here at Unpopular Review of Wrestling and Entertainment. Make sure you guys tune into the Victorious Ones podcast, hosted by my guy King Vaughn Jr. at the bottom of the pause. And then, like I said, you guys can catch us every single day.
I'm not gonna lie, this show has made me completely uncomfortable.
With every single thing. Hey, if you love music, you love movies, you love entertainment, you love video games, you love it, we got it. You want it? Let us know. I'm pretty sure we'll find somebody to do it for you. Now,
or if not, inboxes, you can have a show.
Also, we're looking for interns for videographers and other social media people, because I want somebody to tweet me out like Vaughn does Mike. And
oh yeah,
I'm not going to pay you right now, but if you believe in the vision, you'll get paid. But
if you just believe, that'd be fantastic.
Vaughn has a stake in the Mike Knoxxx show. He knows what's coming here when I make it.
Listen,
okay. He took Herbie's 2%.
Before we get out of here,
Vaughn gets steak?
Yeah, and potatoes.
Damn, you living the life, Vaughn.
Right. Before we get up out of here, in the words of Shannon Sharp, yeah, I like fried chicken. Yeah, I like chocolate. What if I got the chocolate with the fucking chicken for? And if somebody tell you they don't like you, tell them you don't give a good dog damn, and the almighty Dice Man told you. And as always, live, laugh, love hard, love often. And as always, Reach for the sky, boy. Rest in peace to Jay Briscoe.
Wait a minute. It's 139 Edgecombe Avenue. My name is Claudine Price.
Rupert P. Marshall, 7 o'clock.
Hello? Miss Claudine Price leaving?
Yeah.
6 kids in 4 rooms.
36 and it ain't old. It's too old to be messing around.
20th Century Fox presents James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll in Claudine.